Good evening, chat. Hello. How are you guys doing tonight? Why is this? Need to focus. I think we're good. Here. Welcome, everybody, to the Thursday night show. We got a lot to talk about. So welcome, everybody. If you are new, my name is Sean, also known as Potentially Criminal. I'm an attorney in the Cleveland, Ohio area, and tonight we got some funny stuff. We got some stuff that's a little and then we just got some interesting things that have happened out there in the legal world, and we're going to get to all of it coming up here. So, want to say hello to everybody out. Hold on. Chat, let me know if Rumble's working. It should be up. Let me know if it's working. We are live tonight on Twitter, Rumble, and here on YouTube. And then last but not least, Locals, chat. And that's at potentiallycriminal.locals.com. Use the promo code WHIPIT, and you get full I'm sorry. If you join, it's like Patreon. It costs you nothing to join. You can post on the walls and be there for some of the things that happen. For example, we got F1 starting this week, the Australian Grand Prix. We are going to watch that and hang out. It's always a fun time. If you want to support me, it's $3 a month. You pay for 10 months, get 2 months free. Along with that, you get access to the live shows. We do a live show every Monday night, starting at 8:30. This past week, a little late. And then we also do a live show after this tonight. We kind of hang out afterwards. And just all the stuff we can't get to, stuff that isn't appropriate for the show. We just get to hang out and have fun. You can ask people. It's a lot of fun. They enjoy it. So you could join us. But to do that, you have to be a supporter. And if you're not sure if you want to support me yet, you can use the promo code WHIPIT as it's going right here. And it's going to come by right now and go. Hold on. WHIPIT. There we go. Use the promo code WHIPIT. And not the dog, not the type of dog. Talking about what's used in compressed air at times. That WHIPIT. And you could get 1 month free access. There's no obligation if you do it. I'm sure if you guys do take advantage of it, you will stick around and join us over there at potentiallycriminal.locals.com. Oh, we already got a bunch of people already here. Erica says, can we hurry up these 18 minutes? Oh, yes. All right. Too much latency for that gag. Oh, well, I tried. I tried. Thought you had a DJT cut out behind you. Thought it was a different channel. I did. He fell down. I think I'm going to be able to prop him back up. We'll have him back up here in a second. I just haven't had the chance to sit down and tape up cardboard to support him, but he will be back. I promise. Sandy says, I'm catching a stream. Well, thank you for being here. I lied. There is no Twitter. Well, yeah. Over in Locals, Catherine's over there. Guys, can you let me know if Rumble should be up? Rumble says I'm live. Twitter says I'm live. All right, there we go. I'm not going to worry about that too much. But yeah, guys, we have a lot to talk about tonight. A big win for the Toe. It's not 100% confirmed, but it sounds like it's about as good as it can get right now. So, oh no, Nico says I'm live over there. Well, thank you. Danielle was first tonight, and 4M's like a gray one. Yes, you dirty grays got your chance to win tonight. The Buzz CJC is a member for 12 months. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. He says, love you, PPP lawyer skin. Yes. And the casino's been back. They've been doing pretty good this week. I'm sure they're going to want to talk about all the happenings here, so it should be interesting. I'll reach out to them. Green Cap's also been a member for 12 months. Thank you for support. He says, I'm now super gay. 1 year plus in Locals and YouTube. Well, thank you so much for the support, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And, okay, we're going to save that one, too. Grassroots Hegemon says for $5, not nearly enough Clyde content. Feckin' rude, frankly. Well, hold on. Let me see if I can fix that. Hey, Clyde. Come here, buddy. Come on. Hey, come here. Hi. There you go. You guys wanted some Clyde content? I got you some Clyde content. So, if you guys are new, this is Clyde. He's the goodest boy. And we're just going to wait a minute or two till people get in here. Give them a chance to filter in. Is that good, Bubba? Got you some dog ASMR there. He just like double snorted. He sounds like Ethan Klein when he's talking. All right. How you doing, buddy? Is you a big good boy? Huh? You want to go see 2.0 again? All right. I'll set you back on the ground. So. All right. Hide your cut on me, buddy. Hold on. There you go. We might bring him back later if he comes back in. Hey, Bubba. So. Well, there you go. Now you haven't been ripped off. Now you haven't been ripped off. Lamo says, Lamo's been a member 3 months. Thank you for the support. Saying, make sure to check on the Greer thread. Big things. I was told I was reading up. Unless there's some big stuff today, I have not seen it. So I'll take a look. Thank you. And Helgi says for $2 for Clyde. Well, thank you. All right. So who do we... Yeah, we got enough people in here. I think we're going to get started, chat. It's about that time. It's about that time. It's about that time. All right, chat. Here we go. The Steel Toe Morning Show. Run. It's not the illustrious Steel Toe Morning Show. It's not the world famous Steel Toe Morning Show. Got to save that for the kill stream. And it's true. It's world famous and it is illustrious. But Steel Toe Morning Show, run by Aaron Imholte. You also might know him as Aaron Imholte, if you're a fan of PPP and the casino. But Aaron Imholte was one part of the cover. And the cover was the polycule with Aaron Imholte, his wife April Imholte at the time, Kayla Rekieta, and our boy Nicholas Rekieta of Rekieta Law, small law firm in central Minnesota. So if you guys remember, they were doing a polycule where it was an all-you-can-eat cocaine buffet with a lot of fuck and a lot of suck and a lot of coke. Well, as things kind of nosedived and, Nick pushed in harder in the ground in Flight 93, Aaron left. Now, did he leave on his own or did they kick him out? We don't know. But at some point, Aaron left. And then later in May of 2024, this happened over the kind of spring of 2024. In May of 2024, Nick, Kayla, and April were all arrested as part of a fucking drug raid. Due to Nick's performance on the infamous now Coke stream, where he showed up completely tripping balls and was just high out of his mind for a good portion of it. So that led to charges against Nick and Kayla. They were charged with felony drug possession of seriously high amounts. We got to watch Nick's saga of trying to suppress it through his beautifully planned Frank's motion, which, just into the ground again. Kayla tried it. It went into the ground and crashed and burned. And at some point, April was subsequently indicted. Now, in the middle of all of this, Aaron had been on his show with Gino Biscani. And if you guys don't know the Dabbleverse, you're better off not knowing all these people. I'm sorry, but they are who they are. Anyways, Aaron gave a text to Gino Biscani. And from there, he told Gino, the most famous thing now, your boy didn't do too bad, did he? And allegedly what was on that was Aaron sending a picture to Gino of Kayla Rekieta naked or partially naked. We don't know because nobody's seen the picture. Nobody knows what the picture is. And he did this live on his stream. Like he did this. It was 100% live. Really makes you like. So he was documented to do that. Like it was clear what he did. It was clear what was going on there. Yes, it's much better the way if you don't know the lore. Yes, in a state of undress. Yes. So, what happened from there? Well, Nick, as it's coming out more and more and more, can't stop talking about Aaron or Aaron's penis. Now, a lot of you might say that sounds really gay, and it kind of is. Kind of is. It seems like there was a Cokeback Mountain situation brewing where Nick just couldn't quit Aaron. Now, I don't know if Aaron was fully involved in it or if they were, if Nick just had a crush on him and Aaron never knew and kind of accidentally friend zoned Nick, or if they were just going at it. Now, I mean, I'm presuming that, you could look at the two of them, figure out who's going to be the top and who's going to be the bottom. But for some reason, Aaron just couldn't quit Nick, and Nick couldn't quit Aaron. So Nick went ahead to the police department and made a police report, dragging his wife along. And at that point, they filed basically revenge pornography charges against Aaron. And these were very serious because in Minnesota, if you're doing it with the intent to cause harm and harassment and intimidate somebody, it can lead to a felony charge. If you just do it and it's like, oops, that's a misdemeanor, which Minnesota's got some fucking weird ass laws. But remember, chat, the dominant party in Minnesota is the Democrat and Farmer and Labor Party. Yes, the farmer with the sickle and labor with the hammer. Wow, it's almost like they're commies. I'm just saying. So anyways, Aaron got charged with a couple of charges, and we covered these already a couple of times. And they go through and they tell you, Aaron's facing felonies, and he was. Well, the case has gone on and on and on. It's been dragging on. And this past week, actually, at about 2 weeks ago now, I'm sorry. Oh, God, geez, Chad, I didn't realize I put this so bright. Forgot this was like on game mode. I need to turn this down. There we go. It's the neat part when you have a TV as your monitor, you can just go like, boop, and done. And no, chat. Never mind. I'm not going to make any jokes about it. I've done enough there. As we got on with this and we covered it previously, Gino Biscani and also his wife, Keanu Thompson, live in New York. I didn't realize that. I thought they lived like in New Jersey, but apparently they actually like live in New York City. Somebody informed me. So they're out of state, and the prosecutor was filing subpoenas and wanted to force them to show up. Now, here's the big thing that kind of, we'll get to the rest of why things have happened. But as of this date, this week, nothing had been filed forcing Gino or Keanu to show up to testify about what they saw. 2 weeks ago, Aaron's attorney sent over a letter to the prosecutor and said, hey, guys, here's what's going on. Here's his attorney, Todd Peterson, comes out and he says, hey, Miss Prosecutor, take a look at these complaints and all the shit that happened with your witnesses that you're going to rely on for trial, meaning Nick, Kayla, and April. And he says, my client reports he gave law enforcement statements against these parties as part of their prosecutions. And he basically fucking dumped the entire case log and all the information about Nick, about Kayla, and April, and how things have resolved. Now, I know Nick in his brilliant jurisprudence has said, well, that's not going to mean anything. It's like, well, that means quite a lot. It shows you have a lot of bias. You have a lot of incentive to come after someone. In fact, your revenge porn charges smell like revenge themselves. It's very much a Uno Reverso card. It is, in fact, you who are the vengeful party. And, well, chat, those were done. And this week, Aaron has indicated he is now getting a misdemeanor offer. Yes, he's getting a misdemeanor offer. It's for the misdemeanor charge of disseminating material. It's only going to have a $50 fine, it looks like, and he's going to get minimal probation. Now, I was doing some looking up under Minnesota law. It looks like he is eligible to have his record expunged or sealed, however you wish to call it. But after some time, he could go back and get it all sealed. I mean, This is it. This is another win for the Toe. I mean, Nick's like, they got him. They've got him dead to rights. I'm not so sure about that, Nick. Now, what could have happened here? I'm sure there were a lot of problems with this. I'm sure one of the big issues the prosecutor was looking at after a while is just the fact that, like, you know, dealing with their witnesses. I'm sure actually having to sit down with Nick, I'm sure he just won't shut the fuck up and came across as a complete lunatic. You know, maybe he showed up completely like spazzed out of his mind. I'm sure he sat there and kept telling him about Aaron's penis and how bad Aaron ate his goo. And the prosecutor's like, sir, that doesn't help us here. And I'm sure he just went on and on and on and on and on about how he made April bleed and how Nick's like fucking Don Juan and shit. And Aaron's a nerd. I'm sure that's how this went. And the prosecutor's sitting there reading her notes going, oh my fucking God, these people are retards. My entire case is built on retards. My entire case prosecuting a retard who filmed himself committing a crime is full of retarded victims and witnesses. And I'm sure the prosecutor's like, I don't want to do this. And the reason why you could tell they don't want to do this is they never sent out notice to Keanu and I keep saying that, Keanu and Gino. Now, here's the thing. To give them notice for a subpoena, you have to have reasonable notice that you have to appear. So they haven't been ordered to appear yet. Giving somebody a subpoena and making sure it gets to them within like less than a, you know, it's one thing if you lived in town and you have a week to show up, you're probably not going to get that quashed. But when you're almost 1,200 miles away, it's a 19-hour drive, or it's a, you know, a couple-hour flight. It's going to cost you money, and you've only got a couple of days to respond. You're likely going to get that quashed because it's not fair. It doesn't give you time to prepare. There's no notice. Even though they already told you, we need you to be here, well, you haven't been subpoenaed yet. You have no obligation to show up. So they never filed a subpoena. And that was kind of one of my big hints that something was about to happen. Because if you do all this work, like Keanu and Gino were probably going to challenge it, which means they would challenge it in a court in New York City. That's going to take time. And if they don't have enough time to challenge it, the court's going to be like, well, I'm not going to fucking grant it. So the fact that it hadn't happened, it was a big red flag that they were not going to call Gino and Keanu. So they really haven't dead the rights. That's just me. I'm Ed Sheeran, Chad. I'm just thinking out loud, but I'm giving you my thought about this. I know other people had come up with that thought too in the meantime, but I agree. That was a big indicator they weren't going to do anything because their critical witnesses about what actually happened weren't going to be brought in. And that's a big, big issue. Now, what does this mean for Aaron? He likely has this misdemeanor. I'm assuming he's talking about it. He's got it. That said, though, it's still not a done deal. Until it's signed and the court accepts it, it's not a done deal. You know, could the prosecutor theoretically withdraw it? I mean, maybe. But I get very nervous because, you don't tempt the fates. You shouldn't tempt the fates. But in the meantime, I do think it's rather hilarious that he's basically going to walk away with this without a fucking scratch. And more Coke back mountain disappointment for Nick. I'm sure if you open your window up tonight, you can hear the rees all the way from central Minnesota. It's hilarious. And we're also finding out, apparently, the value of the nude photos, if they are really nudes, we don't even know what that is yet. We don't know what photo it is about $50. So it's just total Baldo death. Nick's little plan to go after the steel toe man who's so bad. It's like it just collapsed. It collapsed. Rekieta bros, I don't feel so good. I mean, it collapsed again. I mean, the only thing would be more funnier if Aaron's last name was Franks. That's about the only way you can make this better. Or if Aaron was related to Chief Felt or Alicia Sweep. That would be the only way this stuff could be funnier. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but this has brought some pretty hilariousness to my face. The funnier thing too is Aaron goes in for a plea on April 10th. Okay. April 10th is still before Nick gets sentenced. So before Nick gets sentenced, Aaron's going to plea out and get a smoking hot deal that he could probably get expunged later. And then Nick has to go in and eat shit on the felony. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, chat. Oh. Yeah, and Kayla doesn't even get the $50. The court gets it. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing there. So that's a rough part. That's the rough part. Oh, Anna Wall says, how much do you think you pay in legal fees? Quite a bit. Quite a bit. But here's what I'll tell you when it comes down to legal fees. Let's say you're facing a felony charge and an attorney quoted you like $5,000. You need to think about it this way. And let's say you get it dismissed or you get the outcome you wanted. Like, let's say you were guilty of the crime, but it's only a misdemeanor, but there's a lot of work involved. Would you pay $5,000 to make the problem go away? And normally the answer is yes. Well, then it's totally worth the amount of money. I'm sure Aaron spent probably, I bet, close to $10,000 on this. It would not surprise me. It would not surprise me at all. I'd love to ask him, but I don't think he'll tell me. But yeah, it's not cheap. This shit ain't cheap. And his attorney has done a lot of fucking work. I know the legal minds at the great firm of Melton, Hikmet, and Rekieta were like, he's only done one thing. And his one thing, it's like Todd Peterson did show the prosecutors victims are fucking cocksuckers. And it was really effective. Like, I'm sure highlighting how fucking problematic the victims and witnesses are in this case was a very effective strategy. And that's the thing. Like, he only filed one thing, and look what the result he got. You know, your attorney filed shit, and it didn't get you anywhere. So, like, I don't get the point here of that whole argument. Nick was like, they didn't do anything. It's like, well, that's how you know you have a professional. The professional knows how to use the hammer and where to use the hammer and when to use the hammer. Some Yahoo just sits there and beats the shit out of the piece of equipment that's broken. There's a difference. So you can hear Nick slapping his head now. Especially since the prosecutor hadn't looked at the file yet. Guys, that's a very common thing. Like when you don't have time as a prosecutor to sit there. Your caseload is actually a lot heavier than a defense attorney's. You have so many cases, and you don't get to, like, unless things start going, then you look into it. And you know the basics of a case. But as the case gets going, like, you're not going to interview the witnesses right off the rip, like at the first pre-trial, just because it's generally not an issue. Sometimes you will, defense attorneys and you realize there's something you want to figure out. But for the most part, you don't start trial prepping for it right away because you just can't do that. So, MW says, I'm an idiot with a plasma cutter, though. Okay, well, that's different. Oh. Aaron grifted much more money out of this felony than he probably paid. I'm sure, but still, I'm sure at the end of the day, and this is something, guys, to think about here. Yes, Aaron got out of this, but this is one of those times where just exercising a little bit of fucking forethought and not doing the retarded thing would have saved him so much time and trouble if he hadn't have done the retarded thing that he did. And let's say he didn't send a nude picture, and let's say Gino and Keanu weren't correct in what they recalled correctly to the police. Let's say Aaron just sent him a cat picture and it was all just a work. The idea you would intentionally bring the man into your life and intentionally bring police attention on yourself and pretend to break the law would be retarded. Now, I think it's clear he probably sent a picture of Kayla to Gino. You know, the idea you would intentionally bring the government in your life by intentionally committing an act It's a retarded thing to do. Instead, don't do that. Don't have the man in your life. You don't have to spend, $10,000. And then you can just sit there and A-log the shit out of Nick and Kayla and not have to worry about, if I say the wrong name, they're going to try to revoke my bond. I'm sure if you gave him a choice between option A and option B, now Aaron would be like, well, yeah, I'd probably want option B where I didn't actually do the things and just kind of went about his day. I'm sure he would much prefer that at this point, but this is a great example. Once again, guys, people, we get to watch people do retarded things and you get to say, wow, I wouldn't have done that. And sometimes for people, their life is an example to others. Yes. Well said, Sar. Yes. Laughing in Johnny Somali. Yes. Lily Lynn says Gino likes the boobs, but not the face. Oh. Sleazy says, see, this is why Nick should have watermarked Kayla's nudes. Yeah. There's a copyright. There's a watermark. So yeah, I think it was probably close to $10,000. So yeah. Yes, another win for the toe. And another sandwich for Sean. Very true, very true. Oh. If he just talked about Kayla, he probably could have milked it. Yeah. Yep. 100%. 100%. He definitely could have. Tianena is saying, so he could have, Aaron can now buy 20 cans at Stoney's on Thursday night. Yes. He can buy. Speaking of Stoney's, chat, one of our show sponsors tonight is Stoney's Bar and Grill at 158 East Broadway Street in Rockville, Minnesota. See, you get that live read stuff. Aaron, I can do radio shit too. Stoney's, your place to go, chat. It has been a great week. They're still on winter hours. So Friday, they open at noon. Saturday and Sunday, they open at 10:30. And chat, it's almost St. Patty's Day. But tonight, it's $2.50 cans. Their St. Patrick's Day party is on the 15th. It's a $20 donation. The doors open at noon, and it's food at 1 till gone. And it's free beer till gone. So guys, you come in and you drop a 20, you get to eat and drink and be merry at Stoney's. I mean, like, what more could you want? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. They'll probably have some green beer there so you can take some really wicked craps afterwards and, all that fun stuff. But that's going to be at Stoney's this weekend. So take advantage of it. It's Stoney's serving Minnesota as the premier biker bar for 30 years now. And yes, Aaron could spend his $50. Aaron could have spent that $50 and bought 20 cans. Yeah, that's how we'll have to measure. That's how we have to measure like financial damage to people now is how many cans at Stoney's would this have cost the company when they settle? Aaron's going to have to sell a lot of copies of Naked Twister that he autographs to cover up this $50 debt. That's how you have to do it. Fred says, I've always wondered, are these jokes and is Sean just incredible at the bit, or is the show actually a sponsor? No, it's a bit. I think I mentioned before, my mom asked me, why are you plugging a bar in Minnesota? I'm like, it's a joke. She's like, my mom's like, oh, okay. No, chat, I get nothing from Stoney's for this. This is all for the lulz. This is all for the lulz. He only ships the Naked Twister Mr. Wiener edition, yes. He only ships the used Naked Twister games. Well, that's the thing, though. That's what you guys are going to pay for. You don't want you don't want a Michael Jordan jersey before he put it on. You want a game-worn jersey. That's how this works. You're going to want a copy of Proverbs that's been thumbed through and has got like lube stains on it. You don't just want a brand new book. You buy that off Amazon. Instead, if you write Aaron, I'm sure he'll start doing this to pay off his legal expenses. He'll start selling autographed copies of Proverbs, like battle-worn copies. Battle-worn copies of Naked Twister. You can open it up. It'll be sealed in a bag. You open it up and just the stank comes out and hits you in the nose. I wouldn't want that, but I know some of you out there probably do. Aaron's going to sit there and he'll be like shipping off like 80 of them to Spicer, Minnesota. And it'll be to like a P.O. box. And Nick will just be opening them up going like... each square is a different picture of Kayla. Would be funny. Oh, yes. Yes. So. Oh. All right. So there we go, chat. Yeah, Aaron threw away his copy of Proverbs, but he can redo it again. Yes. Yeah, now he can start a beer company. He can call it the Goo Brew. See, Aaron, I'm giving you like free ideas, man. Get your fucking self a pen and like, just like get your pen out and just start writing these down. Start your microbrewery. Call it Goo Brew. Right foot, ass bottle. Yes. Right foot, bottle in your butt cheeks. You're going to have to redo the spinner. So, anyways, chat, that is kind of the update there. Yes, the toe has received a win as far as it goes. Now, real quick, we got some comments here real quick we're going to get to because they're very relevant. I'll get to the other ones later. Sleazy says for $5, another win for the toe. Did it really only cost $50 to felt the entire polycule? Yeah, in a sense. That's a nominal amount of fine. So, yes, that's all they're worth is $50. Oh. Mediocrities. That would be like my name if I was in ancient Greece. Another win for the toe. Yes. Ag Biochemist has been a member for 23 months. 23 months, chat. Thank you for the support. A lonely $50 for a boob shot. LMFAO. Yes. Yes. Danger Dana says, don't compare Clyde to Ethan Klein. That's incredibly rude. What has Clyde done to deserve that? He's done things. Let me tell you. He's done things. Yes, I never answered the question. I know I never answered the question, J-Rock. And Jack's been a member for 18 months. Thank you, J-Rock. I'll never answer the question. So, Bob Tube's been a member for 3 months. Oh my God, this is fucking hilarious. Thank you, Bob. It's saying this cost Aaron $50 and Nick $2,000 in super tips. Yeah. Yep. Just giving it away, Nick. $2,000 to go $2,000 to go to Beg Melton. Can I come on your show? I'm so sad. Oh no. Unforced Ego for $50. 50, chat. 50. A grant. Yes. The amount Aaron is being fined. $50 doodles. 50 American dollars. 50 greenbacks. Another win for the toe. Suffa, Baldo. Suffa. Yes. Very true. Very true. Lily Lynn says that poor courthouse is trying to keep a straight face every time the Rekietas walk in. Oh, I'm sure in both of them. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Yes, I mean, imagine that. You got to walk in all these places now. So. Oh. Justin said Nick gave Melton 2K. I don't know. He's given he's given Melton a ton of super chats. I don't fucking know. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money now. So who knows? Gary says Nick, you come over here and we'll make fun of him for free. I mean, yeah, that too. Any word on the body cam? No. Actually, yeah, Noel already showed it. You guys didn't know. Yeah, he had like Matthew Harden on. They were like drinking beer and watching it. Like they did it last night. You have to go on the farms and look for it. It's on a private link. No updates yet. No updates. Oh. Clyde finally wants to enter the JQ. Well, he already does that. He does that routinely. So, all right, guys, we're going to move on from there, but those are the updates on the RQ, the Rekieta question. I'm sure there'll be more. I'm sure there'll be more reeing and screeing as we go, but for now, that's it. Now we're going to move on to something that I think is actually pretty interesting. Something that popped up over the weekend. Here, chat, and it's very good. It's the track and field competition out in Virginia. Where the girls, there was a bit of a kerfuffle. If you guys haven't seen this, it's kind of full of what the fuck. I mean, well, it's not really that full of what the fuck. If you're watching it, well, you're gonna be like, not surprised, but it is what it is. We're gonna get to this. So this is a track and field competition out in Virginia. And these are high schoolers running, and they're doing one of the relays. I don't know if it's like the 4x8 or something. And if you guys aren't aware, when you do track field competitions where there's a relay race, you have to run with a baton, and it's this aluminum pipe that you carry, and you have to run with it, and you have to hand it off. If you drop the baton, you're disqualified, and your team's done. If you drop it, that's it. And that's, when the handoffs, like if you ever watch the Olympics and you do the handoffs, the other person starts running and you're running and you hand it off like while your strides meet up. So here are two girls running. They're racing each other. And here we go. It's a little loud, so we're going to turn it down here. But these are the two girls, so watch them. Now, if you're watching that right, so yes, we're going to slow this down just a hair. Because she smokes this chick with it. Now, it's an aluminum tube, so it's not super hard, but apparently this girl got a concussion. So here you go, if you want to watch it in slow-mo. Now, we can slow it down even further because they're moving fast. Here you go. As you can see her, rear and back, she just comes back with it and just whack. Right in the back of the girl's head. She drops the baton, so she's out. Her team's disqualified. And you look at her running by like, oh my God, are you okay? And she's like, whatever, and keeps running. So, I'm sorry, it's a 4x200 meter relay. Sorry. Okay, so they're running probably the last leg of the 4x2 because it's up to a minute. I'm assuming that was probably the last one. Now, the girl who did it actually gave an interview. And this is the girl who did it. And once again, Chad, I'm sorry. This is another, please don't be shocked with what you hear or what you see. Also, this is the angle from the backside. So watch these two. This is the interview she gave. And she is a high school senior.
Everybody has feelings. So you're physically hurt, but you're not thinking of my mental, right? They're going off of one angle. A couple times hitting her my baton.
Okay, if you guys hear the chirping, that's not added in, that's real. So you heard her, you're not, you're not looking at this the right way.
Stuck behind her back like this, and it rolled up her back. I lost my balance, and when I pumped my arms again, she got hit. I know my intentions, and I would never hit somebody on purpose. They're assuming my character, calling me ghetto, racist slurs, death threats, all of this just because of a 9-second.
I mean, I'm sure people are going to give you death threats and use racist slurs regardless of what you had done here or not. Like, I think we can all agree that probably was going to happen anyway. But Yeah, she's here. Let's listen to this again.
I know my intentions and I would never hit somebody on purpose. They're assuming my character, calling me ghetto, racist slurs, death threats, all of this just because of a 9-second video. Everybody has feelings.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty bad video, and we're gonna mute this just so you guys can watch this here. You don't want to watch her speak like going like sloth, but watch the back shot of this. Crack! She winds up and hits this girl, blast her in the back of the head. You know, she's like, I was just trying to be nice. Oh, yes. Yeah, it's more than one accidental hit. Yeah, it was clearly intentional. Well, for her, this didn't go so well. Nobody bought her bullshit. Nobody bought her bullshit. Yes, this bitch, ghetto AF, yes. Missy Elliott is from Portsmouth, too. Oh. Yeah, she's a future astronaut. I'm sure she is. Yes. So, the girl that got hit has a head injury. She got a concussion. Well, what this led to, not surprisingly, because there are times where this makes sense as far as what you're going to do. Now, like in hockey, for example, you can get into a fist fight with a guy. And I wouldn't expect a prosecutor to wake up one day and say, I'm going to charge those guys with assault because they have fought each other, or battery, wherever it is you live, or charge them with disorderly conduct. That's part of the game. But let's say I took a hockey stick and snapped it in half and then tried to stab somebody with it. Is that kind of the risk you assume in hockey, that's going to happen? No. Is getting into a fight something you should assume the risk of in hockey? Yeah, it's kind of the risk. Just like in football. Is it, one thing to get hit? Yeah. Is it another thing for a guy to hit you like you're sitting on the bench, it comes up to you with his helmet and just smacks you so hard you get a fractured skull? No. There are some limits to what you're expecting to happen. So in this case, you're running. This isn't even a contact sport. And the girl behind you just goes right in the back of the head. That's not expected. That's not something we should tolerate. Normally, I tell you guys, should there be punishment? Should we be punishing people? And I think this is okay. This conduct can't be tolerated. And certainly being seen on the being seen on Twitter all over the world. One of the best ways to get charged with a crime is bringing yourself to the attention of local authorities. Andrew Tate's a great example of this. He ran around screaming, bruv, I could pay off all these people. They're so corrupt, bruv. Well, now they're not going to take your bribe. And now you've kind of drawn attention to everything. So guess what? They charge you. In this girl's situation, she brought herself to the attention of local authorities, and now she's facing a battery charge. And more importantly, in the meantime, she talked about it on the news. And don't fucking talk about it. You should say no comment. Because now she's clearly made a statement that doesn't match up with what happened. It's never a good idea. It's never a good idea here. So, yes, relay race is not a contact sport. Yes. Yeah, she completely contradicted herself with what's out there. And Danny says serious bodily injury can be a felony. Yes, but I don't think this was meant to be a felony. I don't think it should be a felony. Because I don't think there was an intent to cause serious bodily harm. And I get it. Yes, you're kind of your actions do infer what happens, but I don't think that's necessary. But did you see your parents get interviewed? No, I did not see them. I'm sure it was very much my baby didn't do nothing wrong. She's about to cure cancer. It's just like, it's like what my mom would say, Sean didn't do nothing wrong. He's a good boy. Now, what happened though? Well, she got faced with a misdemeanor and she's like, yeah, this is what happens when you do that. So her name is Aaliyah Everett, and she's in high school and she's a senior now. But yes, so she's facing a misdemeanor charge of battery. And it's rough. So the Commonwealth's attorney said that an assault and battery charge has been filed. So Yeah, it's never a good idea. It's never a good idea to commit a crime and then fucking run your mouth about it and talk about it. So, yes, my mom would say he's fat. I'm sure she would. I'm sure she'd be, he's fat. Evan says it wasn't a javelin. Well, are you making a spear chucker joke? Because that's not a good joke here, sir. We won't tolerate that here. Now, what happened to her? So she's talked, and that gave them enough information to clearly show she, because if she hadn't talked, a lot of this is up for interpretation. But now it's clearly not what happened. Now, the other girl is a junior, and she was diagnosed with a concussion. So now you have another issue. Thank God it wasn't a felony, but she assaulted somebody who was probably a juvenile. That can be an enhancing factor sometimes. But yeah, she was diagnosed with a concussion. She said eventually after a couple times of hitting her, my baton got stuck behind her back and it rolled up her back. I lost my balance when I pumped my arms. Yeah, nobody buys that. Nobody buys that. And she said she never hit anyone intentionally. She looked around to check it out. She passed the baton, but said Tucker was surrounded by people at that point. I mean, when you go back to this, though, she wasn't surrounded by people. I mean, literally, you can see it as she hits the girl. They're literally not surrounded by people. As you can watch her, she's not surrounded by people. She's still not surrounded by people. She's still not surrounded by people. She's still not surrounded by people. So once again, this is where you talk about things and it's used against you. Your own words will be used against you. She said Tucker was surrounded by other people. After the race, I went to my coach and said he's handling it. When she was finished, her coach told the other team declined an offer for a rerun of the race. And that her own school had been disqualified. Well, I'm sure they went and screamed about that being racist. But guys, this is, yeah. Amber's is saying, did I hear Trump's EO telling all parts of the executive branch, including the DOJ, to ignore all rulings and judges from lower than SCOTUS? No, I have not heard about that today. Kind of based. That's one way to deal with this judicial coup. That's one way to deal with the judicial coup. Is that the best way? No, but I understand the frustration when the judiciary is launching an insurrection. Whether intentionally and knowingly or not, they're being used as a vehicle to launch an insurrection against the executive branch. So I understand. I can see that happening, but don't know for sure about that. I hadn't heard that yet. Wait, what about Ethan Ralph? How does... I don't get it. I don't get it. What do you mean he's got AIDS? Justin says, did she not even watch the video herself? No, I'm sure she probably hadn't, but I bet in the meantime she had watched it. But this is a thing where people do this, and people intentionally, if they're being malicious, will start believing their own lie. Or people who just, they have a complete different recollection of what happened. There's sometimes that's just innocent, but a lot of times, yes, people will lie, and then they start believing their lie, and it helps program their belief that I'm conditioning myself to believe the lie is true. That makes it easier for you to adhere to that lie. So it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon. I wonder if her porch chirps as well. Augusto Pinochet says, I think the jury could find intentionality. Oh, 100%. I think they'll find intentionality. I think they'll find intentionality. I mean, 100%. Do I think this is worthy of a felony? No, but should this girl get told you can't act like a fucking 2-year-old? Yes, because otherwise she's going to keep acting like this and she'll lash out and attack other people. And sometimes she's an example for everyone else that, we have to roll up the newspaper and swat her on the nose and say, no. And then everybody else realizes, okay, we can't tolerate that kind of behavior. Not necessarily in track, but just in general, like, you can't fucking hit. You can't hit people. And the fact you have to tell an 18-year-old you can't hit people is a problem. So she's learning for other people. Johan saying, Nick Rekieta said I could plant that baton on my opponent's skull, bitch. Nick Rekieta said I could do it. Oh. Bob Johnson says, I see Norcomtel LLC. I don't get the joke, but okay. She should be banned from all sports. I'm sure she, if she's not banned by the state, she should be from participating anymore. But the track and field season's probably kind of winding up for the most part. It's not clear what she charged. Yes, she has been charged. So that'll be good for her. That'll be funny if that goes to trial. I hope it does. Hope it does. Take AV says, happy birthday, Angela. Oh, well, happy birthday, Angela. Hope you're doing well. Eric says you do illegal things, just don't get caught. Well, yes. You know, there's ways you can make an accident look like an accident, but yes, doing it that way is never the best. The NAACP are defending her. I'm not sure for what, but okay. She was just practicing when she has to compete against men in the NCAA. Have to defend herself when she goes to the bathroom. Oh, God. Real quick, over on locals. Oh, Garbage Saint says all it will cost Aaron was his wife and $50 to get his 15 seconds of fame. What a deal. Well, at the end of the day, April was probably worth getting rid of. So, yeah, he came out ahead on these deals. She didn't get the house. She didn't get the fucking business. She just fucking walked away. So, yeah, I think Aaron came out ahead on some of that stuff. All right. So, yeah, guys, that's just another example of don't do shit where people can see it. Don't do anything recorded. Like, it's just never good. It's just never a good idea. Never a good idea. Brad says they need to remove from everything. Well, hopefully they do. Hopefully they do. Danny Hardesty says, what's the range of a time frame on a that in Virginia? And hold on here. I gotta see. Battery is a misdemeanor in Virginia. It can carry up to a year in jail or a $2,500 fine. So I'm sure she's not going to get, like, would I put her in jail for 6 months? No. Do I think putting someone like her in jail for 30 days would fucking make sure she understands things? Probably. Could I do it for Could I see myself doing it for 90 days? Yes. But would I put her in for longer than that? Probably not. Probably not. I can see myself doing like 90 days and then giving her like a 90-day suspended sentence and putting her on probation and making sure she'll act like a civilized human being. I can see that happening. Like I said, I don't see it happening the other way where you're just like, set her to break rocks right away. That's not fair. I think sometimes, she needs a bit of a reality check. Angela says Virginia does not play. Why would she do that in Virginia? Well, that's another issue for her. She's, she's in this trouble. She's not the smartest person ever. All right. All right. Now, moving on from there, this is kind of some macabre crap we're going to address right here. And I don't know if we talked about it. We didn't get to talk about it last week because it was before the show happened. But in Michigan, a boy in foster care was crushed to death when his 350-pound foster mom sat on him because he was acting up. So a 10-year-old boy in Michigan died after his foster mom fucking crushed him. And she sat on him for 5 minutes because he was acting up. Yes, you guys are reading this right. Like, this actually happened. This kid who weighed, a fraction of what she did, a quarter, threw himself on the ground and wouldn't listen to her. And this isn't even her mom, guys. This is at a foster home. This is at a fucking foster home. That's the thing. This is at a foster home. So this kid was taken out of a home, placed with Children's Services, who then put him in a foster home because wherever he was at was too dangerous. And then this shit happens. I'm not going to sit here and say the entire foster system and Children's Services is bad, but this is an example of, like, when you have these cases, like, I take these cases every once in a while because they'll call me up and say, "Hey, Sean, will you take like a court-appointed like Children's Services case?" Yeah, I take them because those are the people who need the representation the most. Somebody who can fight because they can't afford shit. If they could afford shit, they wouldn't be in a situation where Children's Services was getting involved. But a lot of these people have the belief that the government's out there stealing your kids and just giving them to people to get abused, and it's like, well, shit. A pretty good example of it. But anyways, he was misbehaving. And that while he threw himself on the ground, she sat on him while calling his caseworker. Like, this is just fucking tragic. It's ghoulish. It's ghoulish, you guys. I mean, it's just, you're like, and they say like it's just like, how the hell can you do this? And your job's to take care of that kid. And you do this to him. This is just, it's fucking awful. It's heartbreaking. And eventually he stopped moving. And she told cops she thought the boy was faking being hurt until she noticed his eyelids had gone pale when she rolled him over. And yeah, she appeared visibly distraught when the police arrived, finding him motionless without a pulse. And here's the thing. She's a foster parent. So they like, when you start doing foster stuff, they make sure you have fire extinguishers in your home. You have smoke detectors everywhere. Like, there's a lot of stuff you have to do if you want to be a foster. Now, if you're like a kinship placement, that's different. But if you're taking in other people's kids through the government, you have to follow all kinds of rules. You're trained in first aid. You're trained in CPR. She didn't fucking give the kid CPR. She just sat there and fucking cried. Like, what the fuck? This kid's dying or dead, and you didn't do anything. He was taken off life support. This is just a month after he had been placed in her custody. And this is her. She sat on him and killed him. But yeah, there's footage, and I haven't been able to find the footage. It shows her sitting on his head and neck, and he screams for help as he starts getting quieter and quieter. So she was fostering 3 other kids, but a Children's Services spokesman confirmed that they had suspended her license and was being rude for permanent revocation. It's like, buddy. Oh, buddy. It's like, yeah. Now, what happened to her, and here's the thing, guys, this happened back in 2024, but it just became big news, which is so weird. But this happened back in July of 2024. But we didn't learn about it till recently. Like, I guess it didn't make big news. Because, yeah, here's the thing. Like, it shows it happening in March of 2025. But this happened back in July of 2024. Now, what happened? Well, she was facing she's facing manslaughter. She got 6 years in prison for this. And she just got sentenced. She got 6 years in prison with 1 year suspended to be served on probation for killing her 10-year-old foster child. And she got charged with reckless homicide. And yeah. And she told the police I was laying on him and he was acting bad. And here's the thing. Before the police showed up, he ran to the neighbor's house and asked them to adopt him. And the boy said that his parents would hit him in the face, according to the affidavit. So, she was attempting to stop him from leaving. And she said she doesn't know if she tackled him or they fell to the ground. But however, her intention was to hold him. Okay, you can hold him without sitting on him. You could bear hug him. There's all kinds of things you can do. But you don't fucking... But she said after he quit moving, she said, was he ready to get up? And she said she began to administer CPR. Well, yeah. I don't know if that's true. She said she did, but, notice how not all the reports state that. So I think there's probably a bit of an issue. His death was mechanical asphyxia, and his death was a homicide. She pled guilty in October, and she learned her fate. And, all I can say is it's a shame she only gets fucking 6 years for that. It's a shame she only gets 6 years. Just absolutely fucking disgusting that happened. And she only got 6 years. And, that's the thing, guys. Some of you guys are like, wow, Sean wants somebody to get buried in the fucking jail. I hope that's one of the people that probably do 40 years in fucking prison. Sorry. There's some times where you fuck up and it's such a fuck up that if you were too retarded to figure out you can't do that, you shouldn't be able to walk down the street. And this is one of those times. This is one of those fucking times. It's so disgusting and sad. Only 40. Well, 40 is probably longer than she'll live. So, but I think, guys, from what I understand, she can only face 6 years in prison based on the crime. So, yeah. There's no way he was on the ground not running away. Yeah. This is... Mediocrity says she takes babysitting to a whole new level. Well played, sir. Well played. Oh, God. Manny B saying Carlos Sainz is faster than Williams. Well, that's good to know. I'll have to watch that later. Guys, by the way, Formula One free practice is starting tonight in Australia. Down right next to Hayden's house in Melbourne. Williams is in top 3 for P1. That's awesome. So, is this justice? I don't know if it's justice, but I think it's probably the best he can get right now. But think about that. That kid and that parents, their kids were taken away. And, I'm sure they were told at the children's service hearing, you guys have to get your shit in order. Imagine that from now on. Think about going into court and saying, Judge, I want my fucking kids back because guess what? I'm not going to sit on them. Sure, I might be doing cocaine or meth, or they might be living in just hard scrabble, squalid shit all the time, but at least I'm not fucking killing them. It's going to be hard, if I was one of those parents not to go in there and act like a fucking asshole, the judge is going to have to go, well, you got a point. Really. This is, what state was this in? Michigan. The fires of hell await that woman. Yeah, probably. It's absolutely fucking awful. Libby's saying, oh my God, she kills a child, but they have to review before issuing the permanent revocation. She has due process rights, and if they're going to revoke her license, they have to follow the procedures. So that's why, like, Derek Chauvin, after he got convicted, he was then fired from the minute, like, that's how this works. If you do the thing, you have to be kind of cleared, or like you have to go through the administrative process to lose your statuses and rights. So they have to follow their procedures, because if they didn't, she could sue, and like, they have to follow the rules. They have to follow the rules. That's why there's a procedure. So that's Sarah Boone levels, yeah. Blockish Owl said, why on earth would no one help him? I'm not sure people saw it. Melanie says, maybe not getting the footage is good. Well, I mean, yeah, if you guys don't want to see it, I guess that works out. So, Grassroots Hegemon says, we may have given up on crucifixions a bit early. I won't let you say crucifixion. Really? Yeah. Bella says, I don't want her in jail. I want her to come to North Alabama to live. Well, yeah. Bob Toot says, the kid took her tendies. Well, Hassan would support that death. No tendy stealing allowed in this house, sir. She took the idea of a weighted blanket way too far. Oh no, Johan. Some of you guys are awful. Oh no, that's awful. That is so funny. Melanie says, there's another story you could give us. Oh, there's other stories, but I think it's just, it's fucking insane. And I had to see it, so you guys had to see it. Oh, you guys had to see it. Just something to think about out there, just, we live in a horrible fucking world where life is cheap, believe it or not. LA Fan says this kid is a new poster child for not doing crack. Oof. Oh God. Some of you guys jokes are good. Don Carroll says, Doc, this is heavy. Oh. Some of you guys out there. Grassroots Hegemon also says 6 years in a cave full of lava. Down for it. Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm sure that's a good idea. Slow-Mo Savage, been a member for 8 months. Thank you. Was saying, did you hear about the kid who set his house on fire to escape his abuse? No, I've never heard of that one. That's interesting. Eric Folmes would say, my dad would be like, we love our fat foamer of a son. And then real quick, Fred Rush says, I've seen people hit with $5 footlongs like she did. What the hell kind of a subway are you at where people are hitting each other with $5 footlongs? That's a little more of my concern. Where is it that you did, like, you saw this? I don't know. I just, how does that work? That concerns me more. But yes, I do have a palate cleanser. This is going to be better. At a truck stop subway, I guess, but still, that's interesting. Is this what Jared Fogel's parties look like? Oh. So, yes, the $5 footlong are 10 years ago. I know. Grassroots says this entire situation just sits poorly with me. All right, Chad, enough of the jokes. He who pun would pick a pocket. So we're not going to keep doing that. Yes, those kind of footlongs. Yes, the Jamaican footlongs. The finest Jamaican meat. You have to jerk it a little bit, though. So, all right, guys, moving on from there. There is a bit of a palate cleanser here. I thought this was interesting. This is a palate cleanser involving dead bodies. So there you go. So a funeral worker in Texas, she got charged with abusing corpses because she cut off a guy's penis and stuffed it in his mouth because he was a sex offender. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. So this woman here, Amber Laudermilk, I don't understand why she's wearing like glasses in the courtroom. Like, you're generally not allowed to do that. But she was charged with abuse of a corpse after she cut off a sex offender's penis and shoved it in the mouth. So, but she cut off the penis and shoved it in his mouth. She took a scalpel to this guy's groin while she was overseeing his embalming. She allegedly stabbed him twice before castrating him and shoving the remains down his throat. I mean, how would anybody have known? How would anybody have known except, it's going to be doing it in front of an embalming student? You didn't see anything. Why wouldn't you just do it by yourself? Why wouldn't you just do it by yourself? I mean, you run into the next problem, though, of the other people who work in the funeral home are going to say, what happened to his penis? And she said he had a lot going on with him. I mean, like, nobody's going to believe your story of like, well, I was pumping him full of embalming fluid and his like cock fell off. Sorry. It's like, yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that. But yes, he actually is on the sex offender registry. He did assault a 31-year-old woman. It wasn't clear how she became aware of the rap sheet. But yes, it's very interesting that the police are like, well, there's two people in this, two troubled people. The victim who was a sex offender and the defendant who viciously attacked his dead body. And you're like, well, oh, and this is him. This is the guy who was the sex offender. Doing the sex offender shuffle. And no matter what one thinks of his life, the law requires to be treated with dignity and death. And that's true. And the constable then said, I don't know his past, but we have the empathy for anybody who's been a victim or who has been or knows somebody who's the victim of sexual assault. So yeah. And she got reported after her funeral home reported there. So yeah. Don't once again, guys, don't do crimes in front of people. Neo Dark Matter says, what kind of lineup backdrop is that? I don't know. It's the one they use wherever that's at. Was the defendant also a sex victim? I don't know. And that's something you could bring up as like a defense. Like, you could try temporary insanity. I don't know how that would work in Texas, but you could start hammering on maybe she was a sex offender. Maybe he looked like someone who had assaulted her in the past. There's a lot of things she could probably try to use to her benefit. Remember, this is also going to be a case where when you charge this, it's going to go in front of a jury. And is a jury going to want to sit there and convict this woman for cutting a pedophile's penis off or a rapist? He's not a pedophile. He's a rapist. He raped a 31-year-old woman or sexually assaulted her. Are you really going to want that? As a jury, are you going to convict a woman who cuts the dick off as a sex offender? Well, he's dead. It wasn't like he was alive when he did. I mean, a lot of people are like, I wouldn't mind that. So I don't know if they charge this. I almost think you kind of want to go to trial. Like, fuck it. It's a misdemeanor. Let's see what happens. I'm betting you could find somebody because you're going to have to think about it. Part of this trial is going to be like, do you think it's okay to put you're going to have to voir dire the jury and talk about like, how do they feel about sex offenders? And I think you're going to run into a situation where it's like, do you think sex offenders are entitled to like dignity? And I don't think you're going to find any. Remember, this is kind of one of those deals where if you ask a question with the socially acceptable answer, you're going to get the socially acceptable answer most of the time. I don't think you're going to get jurors saying, oh, I think these sex offenders should be treated with dignity and respect. No one's going to stand up in a fucking courtroom and say that. So I don't know if you're going to be able to get a conviction on this. You might get an acquittal, but I think you'll definitely get a hung jury. I'd find guilty of them for a small crime. Yes, how ironic would it be if the jury were hung? Yes. Would the judge let that fact in that he was a sex offender? Well, I'm sure it's going to come up. I'm sure it's going to come up. There's going to be a reason as to why she did it. Because the jury, remember, you don't have to prove motive, but it's going to be part of this. The motive is part of the story. Because you're going to say she intentionally did it. Okay, well, what was the reason why she did it? It's because he's a sex offender. Now, I'm sure the prosecutor is going to say, like, we need to remove any reference to that. Because it doesn't matter if he's a sex offender or the governor of Texas. You can't cut his penis off. So I can see them trying to hide that. But I think that goes to her state of mind at the time. And if they could try like a diminished capacity, or at the very least, I think it's going to, there's ways you could sneak it in. But yeah, I think the prosecutor would try to hide this because they'll say, look, it's not relevant because she desecrated a corpse, not desecrating a sex offender's corpse. So it applies to all dead bodies, but it'll be interesting. So Stabby says, fuck's sake, you two won't only let me comment on this. Oh no. Maybe she was attempting a new embalming technique. Yeah, you just cut off the penis and shove the formaldehyde up in there. So, my test concluded he was deficient in vitamin D. Spudgun says, I think that the corpse should have been treated with respect. If he was alive when Lorena bobbited him, I would have nullified. Interesting look. Interesting thought. That's an interesting way to look at it. If he was alive, you'd have been cool with it. But if he's dead, you're like, well, and I can understand that. Cleopatra says she was just having a woman moment. Well, yeah. Yes. Justice Smith says she was doing analog wood chipping, chopping them up piece by piece by hand. Aquila is saying definitely a hung jury, yes. But yeah. She pulled a Taylor Shabiz by putting the dick in his mouth. I forgot about that. And putting the head of the crock pot. Yeah. Yeah. You're like, holy crap, what did I just walk into? Well, yes. Artisanal wood chipping. Yes. Did she say something cool like in an 80s movie, like, eat a dick? As she just like shoves it in there. Oh. So once again, chat, don't document yourself committing crimes, especially when there's other people around. It's never a good idea. All right, here. So moving on from there, guys, there is this is going to be a bit of a shocker, I know, but a bunch of army soldiers who are Chinese Chinese heritage were caught in a basically an intelligence sting and stealing government property and selling it to Chinese people and transmitting national defense information to individuals located in China. It's like, not a surprise, really. There's Chinese spies among us in the military. Like, no way, chat, no way. So there are two guys who are active duty soldiers, Jian Zhao and Li Tian, are active duty soldiers stationed at Fort Lewis, and along with another guy who was a former soldier, were arrested following indictments for conspiracy to commit bribery and theft of government property. They were also trying to transmit national defense information to an individual not authorized to receive it. So yeah, you're like, huh. Yeah. Now it's funny here because this is from Kash Patel. And he says, well, bribery and corruption have thrived under China's Communist Party. This cannot be tolerated with our service members. Really, you should think about the generals who retired that go work for Lockheed Martin or Raytheon. Because if we're talking about bribery, there's a lot of bribery there. I'm just saying there. But yes, these immigrants strengthened us and made us so much better, chat. So these guys got arrested and they got indicted. Now you're thinking, well, why didn't they did it like a military court martial or something? And that can still happen. That can still happen. Just for right now, the federal government's dealing with them in a civilian court. So the first guy was a sergeant in the U.S. Army. His most recent thing, his job title was listed as the battery supply sergeant for a field artillery brigade. So he was in charge of all kinds of things, and he managed the record and accountability of $55 million of Army property, which if people are here, military guys are like, that's not that much. They've handled more. And it's true. But anyways, his areas of emphasis were just not necessarily supply reports, clothing records, but the supply programs and also tactical operations center exercises. So he did transmit top secret information. So it's information that's secret. And we've gone through these before where you talk about secret and confidential. But anyways, he had a duty to protect national defense information. And they received training on handling all this crap. So he was advised that if he did an unauthorized disclosure or unauthorized retention or negligently handling it, and yes, chat, you can get in trouble for negligently handling material. Not even like, oops, my bad. You could still be charged for that. And that could cause damage to the United States. So, but anyways, he had access to secret information. He didn't have the top secret thing, but he worked with a guy who was residing in the People's Republic of China. So, and obviously the guy in China was not entitled to receive national defense information. So what did he do? He collected and transmitted this data to a guy in China. You know, that's so good, chat. Our diversity is our strength. So once again, they talk about Zhao and the co-conspirator, and this is one of the guys. And the co-conspirator found a buyer as he negotiated methods of payment and delivery for the information, including sensitive U.S. military information. Now, they won't tell you what it is here. It won't tell you what it is here, but he gathered the information and took photographs using his cell phone, which I'm sure got intercepted. He included a lot of information on classified hard drives pertaining to the HIMARS weapon system, guys, and that's the wheeled rocket launcher that shoots. It's just like the MLRS. It's wheel-based, though. It's something that's been used to great effect in Ukraine by the Ukrainian military. It's actually a very formidable system. It's very powerful. And he was just selling information off in that, which makes sense because they're a field artillery brigade, so they don't need the rockets are considered field artillery. So, and the HIMARS is the high mobility artillery rocket system. Yes, and it's a long range artillery system that allows for the simultaneous launching of multiple precision guided, meaning GPS guided rockets. So he received payments of at least $15,000 from August to December. So when they talk about the overt acts here and what happened. So he offered the conspirator a computer used in military office equipment. You're not allowed to do that. He offered a computer system that was just replaced, including a monitor, a keyboard, and an antenna for $2,500. And the co-conspirator told him that the computer was worth $1,800 and that 5,000 renminbi was already paid. And he said, "Give me $1,000." And he said, "Okay." He then also said, "The computer is screwed. I can't open it. I'll return your money." So he redeemed the money. As you can see here, chat, he tells them what's going on. And he gives them a hard drives, and he says that he was asked to slot the computers for a hard drive, and he replied that it's got two functions. It's for encryption slots or for hard drives. It's very rare now, hard to find. If you could guarantee our safety while making some money for us, sell it. It's the end of the year. And then in July, he took all these photographs of all these classified hard drives. Okay, well, not all of them are classified. Like this one here is unclassified, but they label them secret, 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 secret. Like, they're telling you what's on this shit. You're not allowed to discern it. You have to be careful with it. He says, I have many hard drives. It's not possible to check the contents. And he's like, do you understand what unclassified and secret mean, China man? Oh. But yes, he had 20 hard drives, and he didn't know all their contents, but he gave them away. And he says, your buyer needs intelligence, right? Once again, chat, these are all text messages this guy sent out. Do not do this. Do not do this. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yes. Ooh, woo, I have many hard drives for you monies. Yes. Oh, my God. Yes, Aquila said China can no longer give 10% to the big guy to get their intelligence. So, but yes, it's so interesting reading how he does this. He's texting all this. He does 20 hard drives for $10,000. So he got all his payments done. And that these had all been picked up. And he told the co-conspirator the 10 hard drives with the red and highest classification labels he will sell for $8,000, stating he was not worried about selling hard drives, but speaking from the heart, he was not totally comfortable selling them, but he would if there was a buyer. He's like, look, I don't really want to do this, but if you have somebody who's willing to give me money, I'll totally do it. You're like, I don't know how that works, man, but hey, you do you, brother. You do you. But yes, the top secret classification labels are orange in color, and secret labels are red in color. So yes, he had top secret information. He's just like, yeah. Yes. So anyways, he sent more following photos of non-stickered hard drives on hard drives labeled secret. These were sent back. So this shows that these came through to China. Which I don't know why you would ask for further proof of what you've done, but these guys are retarded. So, so they got mad at him because they received 19 hard drives, 3 of which were corrupted. So the buyer is only paying $2,000 for the remaining. And the guy agreed. Instead, he had never promised anything regarding the drives. And guys, remember, when they're talking about the buyer, it's the Ministry of State Security. It's Chinese intelligence buying these. He's like, I have a couple more top secret and secret ones. Those with TS labels, those who understand would get what it means. The buyer said, why is the document classification different and not as promised? He said that the top secret is for the hard drive, not the documents, and he can't open top secret documents. And he has less top secret documents, but not now because the secret was difficult, although he did have the secret documents. He ended up saying, I have brigade level intelligence. And a brigade in the military is a unit that's made up of several battalions or a few thousand soldiers. Yes, guys, and brigades make up a division. So brigades, you can think of brigades as like regiments. Brigades and regiments are kind of like similarly situated in size. So a couple of brigades comprise a division. So it's pretty high up intelligence. He says, this way we must be very, very careful. It's very sensitive documents, super difficult to get. And you fucking talk about it. You talk about it. You know, they talk about that. They'd sent him information, but he's like, it needs to delete it. And he says, he's like, if you want these, I'll take whatever feels necessary. But in these couple of years, anything that touches the HIMARS rocket system is the starting price of $3,000 to $4,000. And he says, he gets mad because they're lowballing him, and he says, I will not discuss $2,000. And then later they ask him, would you communicate with our new buyer? And he said, I won't take your suggestion. I won't consider. He says, fuck this world. I'm not selling, brother. And then following a phone call, They stated, "What can I get from you? You can't get anywhere else." And he says that we'll find more stuff. And 12 hours later, he says, a cover and table of contents for all these kind of documents. And they just keep going and going and going, and it's all documented, chat. They started selling documents about military exercises, and you're like, wow, this is like totally not, yeah. And then it's better because the defendant, the guy Zhao, asked his co-conspirator, the Chinese handler, do we have end-to-end encrypted messaging applications? Obviously they didn't. Which is hilarious. And then he later responded, he told his handler, do you know how risky this is? And then the co-conspirator says, if I were you, I wouldn't fucking do this. Just read through this, guys. It's so damn funny to read, where they're like, I wouldn't have done this if I were you, brother. It was just so damn funny. It's so damn funny here. All the stuff he did here. This is just... And then they also had other people watching him, so he went into his office, and after 5 minutes on his computer, he left it empty-handed and returned with 2 documents. And he laid the documents on top of his desk. And he used a scanning application on his cell phone to scan the first document. And then he returned with the second document rolled up in his hands, which means they were checking him. The first document was Strategic and Operation Rockets and Missiles, relating to the operation of strategic weaponry. It contained a CUI marking, along with warnings that read, authorized to DoD contractors only. The further dissemination only as directed by Storm or a higher authority. And the documents, guys, it's part of the Export Act. You can't export it because it contains technical data whose export is restricted by the Arms Export Control Act. So even the documents, plans, and information about weapon systems are considered documents and technical data. So it's not only that you can't send a rocket launcher, but all the data for the rocket launcher. But he also sent stuff about a simulation-driven multinational exercise. They also talk about they found each other on the messaging application. Well, it didn't help. It was too late now. So he asked the co-contributors, the problem is that everyone has restrictions, and I will take good stuff, but I need to guarantee my safety. Well, it didn't really work. So he talked about all the money he's received. He also took pictures of a document pertaining to a military exercise involving a conflict of the PRC. Now, they won't tell us what the 90-page manual is, but they're just saying it's sensitive information. And he goes through this. All the stuff that happened here. And they charge him as a public official because he's a member of the U.S. Army. So he's a member of the U.S. military, which means they charge him with bribery. He stole government property. And they're going to seize all the money and all the bank accounts and all the goods from that money. But yes, chat, there are... Yeah, you're coordinating with a spy. There is no safety. Yes, very true. I just thought that was very interesting. They're like, well, oh no, there's a Chinese spy. And it's like, no shit. No shit, guys. No shit. They could have just sold it on Alibaba. Yeah. He could have just uploaded it to fucking War Thunder. The War Thunder things. So, Hans 1PK is saying, the military will never pass audits because this guy. And then he says, I'm surprised not for the Excalibur GPS system for the artillery rounds. Yeah, but remember, though, even with the HIMARS, the Russians have been effectively able to jam the GPS signals. So the HIMARS have already been downgraded pretty bad. I'm sure that the Russians have given that information to the Chinese anyway. Yes, probably one of General Milley's buddies, yes. Yes, sensitive information can be 70-year-old technology, but it's still being cloaked by national security. Yep. Even even information from World War II, guys, is still out there that's top secret and classified. So all that stuff is out there. All that stuff is out there. Natasha says, just because you did it. Yes, but don't admit that you've done it. And we've got a couple people here who have routinely admitted to doing it. Erin, the lady who cut the penis off. The girl at the track and field thing. She didn't admit to it, but she got caught doing it. I mean, we're going through all these people who are doing it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, chat. It's just my biggest instruction to you. It's my biggest instruction to you. Hold on here, chat. Hold on. Why is this? All right. Okay. So moving on to the next thing here. Trump is going back to SCOTUS again. And this one is involving birthright citizenship, chat. But it's not the exact issue that's going up right now. So if you guys were not aware, the Trump administration was trying to say, just because you're born here as an anchor baby doesn't mean you're actually a citizen and that you're entitled to birthright citizenship. That kind of goes against common 14th Amendment jurisprudence. But he has been sued by the state of Washington. And right now they are seeking a stay of the injunction issued by the United States District Court for the Western District of Washington. So what's going on here? Well, this is a case involving the 14th Amendment, but it's not about the 14th Amendment yet. So they're going to talk about the legal background. But here's the thing they're talking about. The universal injunctions improperly grant relief to non-parties. The district court injunctions improperly grant relief to the states. The district court injunctions improperly prevent the executive branch from developing implementation guidance, and equities favor a stay. That's all we're talking about are the injunctions. Look, injunction, injunction, injunction. Injunction, junctions, what's your function? That's all we're talking about right now, are just the injunctions, not the 14th Amendment. So that's all this happens here. This is all they're talking about. So what they're doing is they're just seeking a partial stay of the nationwide preliminary injunction. That's all they're asking for. That's all they're asking for. And they say pending the consideration and disposition of the government's appeal to the Ninth Circuit, because the Ninth Circuit declined to grant a stay. The government is filing similar applications in cases arising from the District of Maryland and the District of Massachusetts. And they say from the following paragraph onward, all three applications are identical. So there's other courts that are challenging this whole thing too. These cases are challenging the January 20th executive order concerning birthright citizenship, but we're not challenging birthright citizenship yet. This is just about the injunctions. So they say the three courts, Maryland, Massachusetts, and Washington, have overlapped injunctions at the behest of 22 states, 2 organizations, and 7 individuals. These injunctions prohibit a day one order from being enforced anywhere in the country, as to hundreds of thousands of unspecified individuals who are not before the court, nor identified by the court. So these injunctions prohibit the agencies from developing guidance about how they would implement the order. And yet the 3 courts of appeals, so the 3 courts of appeals, so it would be the 2nd Circuit, the 4th Circuit, and the 9th Circuit, have refused to limit the interim relief. Now, this is something we're going to talk about here, Chad. I mentioned this before. This is hardly the first time the judges have entered injunctions to govern the whole nation from their courtrooms. It's a 2024 case from the Supreme Court that Justice Gorsuch was involved in. And they point out these injunctions are a relatively new phenomenon. And they say they say these for familiar. Universal injunctions are legal and historically dubious. From Justice Thomas in Trump v. Hawaii. Justice Gorsuch says they're patently unworkable. So did Justice Thomas. And they say universal injunctions transgress constitutional limits on courts' power, which extend only to rendering a judgment or decree upon the rights of litigants. And once again, Gorsuch again, joined by Thomas and Justice Barrett. who concurred. And then guys, they cite the one we talked about recently. These injunctions are incompatible with the foundational limits on equitable jurisdiction. And this is the AIDS vaccine coalition that we talked about before. Alito, Thomas Gorsuch, and Kavanaugh all dissented on that one. And there's other cases they have. Nationwide injunctions have not been good for the rule of law. Sixth Circuit case cited by a chief judge in the Sixth Circuit. And they risk the perception of federal courts as an apolitical branch coming out of the Fourth Circuit. And they say these injunctions compromise the executive branch's ability to do its job. So this is what it's all about. It's all about the injunctions. It's all about the TROs. It's everything that's going on. So this is going to get interesting when they do this. This is where it's all about. So if you see people out there panicking one way or another, guys, I just want you guys to understand and know it's all about the injunctions. And when we get to, we're going to do a Trump show coming up here over the weekend. We're going to talk about these and the other cases that are going. And I'll get into this more in depth. But this is just solely about the injunction. So now, what do I think is going to happen again? I think the court's going to say, sorry, denied. Once again, they're going to say denied. Bama Law says, wouldn't it be great if just one time the lawyers would type, this is bullshit? Yes. Yes. Yes, they would. So I just want you guys to understand people are freaking out about it. It's not exactly what people think it is. All right. It's not what people think it is. So, moving on from here, though, this is something I wanted to bring up before. This is something the 11th Circuit was doing. They had a case involving resentencing. Now, what happens here? This is a case of, yes, a Trump show. Yes, thank you, Tyler. Tyler Yankee over at the Libertarian Podcast Review Chat, the best podcast review for libertarians, but also a podcast review of libertarian shows. I think you could, depends on how you want to look at it, but it's probably both, really, at the end of the day. Guys, take a look for Tyler. He does great stuff. Now, this is something I thought was interesting because we've talked about, I mentioned this before, but we've never actually probably covered one. So the 11th Circuit is going to resentence a guy. And they argued this on the 26th. So the 11th Circuit is down in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, guys. That's where the 11th Circuit is. That's what they cover is down there. So what are they doing? Well, if a sentence is improper, the state can appeal it. Now, think about it this way. There's two ways a sentence can be improper. Let's say you get charged with littering and you plead guilty and the judge sentences you to 10 years in prison. Obviously, that's not within the punishment statutes for littering. It's probably only a fine. So you would have the right to appeal and challenge an illegal sentence. Now, for example, let's say you committed murder and you were convicted of murder or you pled out to murder, but the judge looks at you and says, you know what, chat, I think you're a good guy. You're a good boy. I'm going to put you on probation. Yet, by law, the sentence is a mandatory 15 to life sentence, or it's a mandatory life sentence, or it's a mandatory whatever. The state, they can appeal that. The prosecutors have the right to appeal and say, hey, appellate court, the judge got it wrong. We need to fix it. Well, in this case, this is a similar thing that happened. And the 11th Circuit addressed this. And it's interesting what happened here to this guy. So if you, I wanted to show you this because this is how kind of this is a very quick turnaround time for a circuit court. It got argued on the 26th, and by 2/28, so less than 2 days later, they were done. They were done. So. All right, guys. So what happened here? So it took them 2 days to write the opinion. Yeah. So it's the United States of America versus Stevenson, Charles. So what happened? This came out of the Southern District of Florida. Hey, where Destiny's at. So this appeal requires us to decide whether a defendant may waive a statutory maximum term, a supervised release, over the government's objection. This guy pled guilty to a 17-count indictment after he engaged in a crime spree targeting gay men in Miami. The district court sentenced Charles to 45 years of imprisonment and 15 years of supervised release. But the statutory maximum term is supervised release is 5 years. So here's the thing. Because the district court lacked the authority to impose a sentence that exceeds the maximum punishments, we vacate and remand for resentencing. So, and this is a situation where the guy's already getting 45 years in prison, but he's arguing about the probation he's going to get. And yes, this is this is the thing for appeals, guys. Very common on appeals, especially when people plea. The only thing you get as a victory is the resentencing. That's generally all you're going to get. And so it says Stevenson Charles, while on probation, engaged in a spree of crimes against gay men in Florida. On 3 separate occasions, Charles lured his victims to purported dates using the online app Grindr. When the victims arrived, he pulled out a gun, forced them into their cars, and directed them to banks or stores where he used their cards to withdraw hundreds of dollars. Charles beat one victim and shot another victim multiple times, including in the back, head, and shoulder. He told one of his victims that he would kill all of you, kill everyone like you, and another he hated gay people and believed they should be punished. So he got indicted on multiple counts. So for carjacking, 5 counts for brandishing a firearm in the furtherance of violence, 5 counts for kidnapping, and 4 counts for bank robbery. And he pleaded guilty to all counts without a plea agreement, which is interesting. It's interesting. So his PSI calculated his offense level to be 43, which is really bad. His criminal score is a 5. And Chad, if you don't know what that means, in federal court, the sentencing guidelines are like a grid. And his score was really high and his level is really high. So you're like running all the way over on the grid to like very high ranges there. So his guideline imprisonment range was a term for life. Yeah. It was also stated supervised release for counts 1 and 6 was not more than 3 years, and for the remaining counts was not more than 5 years. 5 years was the maximum term because multiple terms shall run concurrently, and that's how the federal government does it. He had no objections to the report, but he moved for a downward variance based on his age. He was only 21 when he committed the offenses, and he had a difficult upbringing. He asked for the mandatory minimum sentence of 38 years. The government recommended life. They say he's a danger to the community and all of that. The district court expressed concern his actions, probably as violent as vicious as he has seen in his 20 years, and he did not see any remorse. So, he talks about growing up in some of the worst neighborhoods in Miami, and he had a lack of remorse. It suggested he would engage in similar conduct if you're ever released from prison. And it says, the judge says he wanted to compromise, and he says, I know the maximum period of release is 5 years. And then he says, is there any way to have it longer? Can you guys agree to it, stipulate to it? The government responded he didn't believe you could do that. And the court said, is that something I could do legally? I know the statute says it's a maximum. But if the defendant says I waive it and would agree to 10, I've never had that come up. Now, I mean, it says a maximum, but, you know, there's not always times where you can agree not to do things, Judge. Remember, this is a federal judge. The government responded, we don't believe the defendant can waive the maximum punishment. And the defense counsel said that the defendant can waive anything, which I don't think is true, and I would never make that comment. And then offered, we agreed to the 15-year supervised release. I don't know why you would agree to it, because it's not like the judge didn't cut him any slack. So he got a 45-year imprisonment and 15 years of supervised release. But the defendant's stipulation, he says, I've reduced the sentence down from life to 45 years. Here's the thing, though. You're going to do all 45 years, so you're 65 when you get out. You're going to be like in your mid-60s, almost 70, so you're probably going to be dead anyway. Like, there's no way out here that helps you. Like, this is not like him doing you a solid. I just never agree to this. Charles did not object to the sentence, but the government objected to the imposition of the 15-year supervised release because it exceeds its statutory maximum. And here's an example, chat. The government is going back, and they're challenging the sentence. Notice the guy's going away for 45 years. They're like, sorry, can't do that. You got to give him life. So the judge is going to say, sorry, I got to give you life now. And he's going to fuck the guy over. The government explained the illegality of the supervised release would make the sentence inadequate. So they point out that they said you reduce a sentence based on the fact that you were giving a longer term supervised release. And they said, so assuming later all that you could do is 5 years, that would concern the government as far as basing their sentence on being longer. And the district court had a footnote that said, the court acknowledges that 15 years exceeds the statutory limit. However, the defendant stipulated to this term in lieu of additional time in prison. So when you review the legality of a sentence, it's reviewed de novo. So, and this is the thing, chat. This is the appeal. And this is interesting because you guys normally don't see this. The United States appealed. And he's the appellee. The appellant is the person appealing. The appellee is the person responding. So if you notice, that's the thing. The government appealed this. And they're like, no, judge, he needs to get cornholed for life, not 45 years. And they say as a preliminary matter, he agreed that the government failed to object to his term and failed to raise any issue with that term on appeal. And they say, we disagree. They say the government objected to the legal error in his term of supervised release. And they say on appeal, the government raises the same argument. So they say that it's not legal. It shouldn't happen. The government also says it's not waivable. And they say illegal sentences include those beyond the statutory power of the court to impose. And they say this limit on judicial authority is absolute. And they say, while you may waive your rights in a criminal proceeding, maximum punishments are not waivable. The rights belong to the defendant, and he may choose to exercise them or not. The right to counsel, though protected, is the defendant's to waive. If the defendant chooses to waive his right to counsel, the scope of the court's power does not change. They say statutory maximums are not rights. They are limits imposed by Congress. And notice they italicize limits imposed by Congress on the punishment a court may impose. So they point out that both suggest that these cases suggest that congressional authority is the key difference. That makes sense is legal or illegal. So they point out you can't do this. They say neither the invited error precedents that have been cited suggest the defendant may waive the mandatory punishments. So they said the district court, and they cite a case here where the district court sentenced the defendant to 45 days incarceration, followed by 5 years of release. And they say on appeal, the defendant, in this other case, the defendant argued the district court lacked the authority to impose the terms. And they say they didn't reach the merits. They concluded that the defendant induced or invited the ruling and stated it is a cardinal rule of appellate review. A party cannot challenge an error that they invited. So in this case that they're citing here in Love, this guy tricked the court into doing something, and they're saying, well, you don't get the benefit of that bargain. You can't then turn around and fuck the court over, which I think you should be able to. If you could bait the court into doing something retarded, that's on the court. And they say after the court sentenced the defendant to the bottom of the guideline range and imposed a life term of supervised release. That's a long time, chat. A life term of supervised release. That's in this case here, Carpenter. And the defendant challenged his term on the rule appeal. They also invited the error rule and said, you brought this on yourself. If you invite the trial court to commit error, you can't cry foul on appeal. So the guy's got a lifetime probation case. Now here he had a 5-year maximum term. He pled guilty to a mix of Class A, B, and C felonies. And they say none of his crimes are terms of a specified release, so that term is simply supplied. The A and B felonies carry a 5-year maximum term. And they say, although his waiver of this maximum length eliminated legal error in a sentence, he was not entitled to waive the statutory maximum. So the district court imposed an illegal sentence when it sentenced him to 15 years of supervised release. And they say error permeated the entire sentence. And because the original sentencing can be undermined by altering one portion of it, they may have to vacate the entire sentence so that the court can fix it and reconfigure the plan to satisfy the sentencing rules and laws. So that's what's going to happen here. They can't do a supervised release anymore, and that ruins everything. And the judge said, well, I only gave that to you because I wasn't giving you life. Well, guess what's going to happen to this guy now? He's going away for fucking ever. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yes, on papers for life is rough. Yes. So this is, once again, guys, I thought it's just interesting to go for here. The district court tied its decision to reduce the sentence from 45 years, from life to 45 years because of a stipulation. And they say on remand, the court must have the opportunity to impose a new sentence that considers the sentencing factors and rely on an illegal term of release. So they vacate the sentence and remand. So this guy's going to get his fucking boots nuked off. The government could have just let him go enjoy his time in prison. But no, they're like, no, he's got to go away forever. If they had just let it go and let it ride, that would have been it. But no, he had to fuck this up. Yes, Ice-T has some news for him. Yes, got news for you, Stevenson. You're gay. Life seems overrated. Thank you, Dan. Oh, yes, there you go. But yeah, that's not good, chat. That is not a good thing. He's going to get nuked. This guy's going away forever now. So, uh-oh. I would not be thrilled if I were him. All right. And the last thing tonight, well, actually, second last thing tonight. This is actually kind of a serious thing here, chat. The former president of the Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte, is been arrested by the International Criminal Court for his crackdown on drug dealers. Now, if you guys don't remember him, he was the kind of, back in 2016, he was part of the based revolution that was taking over everywhere. And he's like, we're going to execute drug dealers. And he was a mayor of a large city in the Philippines, ran for president, won. Did a lot of stuff here, chat. And yeah, so he is now in the custody of the International Criminal Court because of his brutal years-long anti-drug crackdowns that left about 6,000 people dead at the hands of the government. So, yes. So the ICC put out a warrant for him. And he was forced out of the Philippines. And he was arrested after returning to the Philippines from Hong Kong and charged with crimes against humanity. He was charged with murder as a crime against humanity. And here's the interesting thing, guys. So the Philippines is not part of the International Criminal Court. So they didn't have to automatically honor the extradition request. But what they had to do is the Philippines is a part of Interpol. And yes, chat, Interpol, the same one ran by the Gestapo. Interpol, the International Criminal Agency. It's what you join when you hunt down Carmen Sandiego. But Interpol, almost every country is a part of Interpol. America's a part of Interpol. So Interpol put out a red notice, probably. I don't know if exactly how they did it, but they put out a notice for this guy to get arrested. And that's how they arrested him and then had him sent. So that's how it works. So that is kind of the interesting way about how this worked out there. So they acknowledge they have their international commitments to Interpol. But yes, he went after drug dealers that was very people were popular about. It killed like 6,000 people through police data. But it was likely a lot higher. They don't know, though, for sure. So they've been investigating him for years and years on end. But yes, there are people who are like, he did a lot for our country, and this is what they did to him. So, but yes, he was the president for 6 years, and he had an unrelenting war on drugs, and he's celebrated by voters in the city where he's from, where he served as mayor for like 20 years. Now that he also admits he ordered police to shoot suspects who had resisted arrest. And it's just interesting how they did it, how they arrested him. And here's a great example of things, chat. Like, here's him sitting in the airport trying to get arrested. Well, that's not going to work. Oh, CNN's being gay. So actually, we'll switch over to this here. This is Duterte getting taken from getting put on a plane in the Philippines. If you guys understand. And yes, this is the international court. This is how extraditions work. Because it's not an extradition, it's just a arrest warrant from Interpol. There's not really an extradition issue. They have the right to take him, so they took him, loaded him up on the plane, and forced him into the plane, and then the plane took off. So that's what happened to him there. Now, it's interesting because if you go back through, this is something that's been brewing for a while. And the ICC's been looking into it for years and years and years now. And ultimately, there was the International Criminal Court released a statement where they talk about arresting him. And they also have, if you guys have never seen it before, they actually have some documents. So this is a lot of, the ICC kind of does whatever it wants to as a court. So you're going to say some of this doesn't make any sense. But yes, he was arrested and they had a secret indictment. And they were before a couple of these judges here, and they were in a pretrial setting. And they went a secret and they wanted an arrest warrant for Rodrigo Duterte. And they wanted people who had to be notified. They talk about the office of the prosecutor. And they talk about other people who were involved in this. So what happened, though? Well, he was charged. It was part of the Rome Statute. Okay. And it's because at this time, that is setting up the International Criminal Court, is the Rome Statute. So they say on April 29, 2021, this was all assigned to the chamber. And they talk about here how they set this up to get assessed for what's going on. They say these crimes were allegedly committed in the Philippines between November 2011 and March 2019 as part of the war on drugs. And there was a deferral request from the Philippines, and there's a temporary suspension of the activities. So they go ahead and they kept working on this. They kept working on what was going on here. And all this stuff was happening pretty much quietly behind the scenes. So in February, under seal and ex parte, they applied for an arrest warrant. And they did murder as a crime against humanity, torture as a crime against humanity, and rape. Rape is a crime against humanity. So, rape as a crime against humanity here, chat. As the good Alex Jones will tell you.
Rape.
Yes, a lot of rape. 40-pound box of rape, even maybe. So they talk about the jurisdiction here, and they decided that, this falls within the jurisdiction of the court here. They point out that these applications amount to crimes against humanity. And they say, as to the temporal jurisdiction, that while the Philippines withdrew from the statute that took effect in 2019, the court retains jurisdiction with crimes that occurred while it was a party member from November 2011 up to March of 2019. They say further, the court's jurisdiction and mandate is exercised in accordance with the provisions of the statute, an international treaty to which the Philippines was a party at the time of the crimes. And they say by ratifying the statute, the Philippines expressly accepted the jurisdiction of the court within the limits mandated by the treaty. There's a reason why the United States has not signed the ICC. It's not part of the ICC. We are not part of that. And they say as this took place in the Philippines while the treaty was signed, it falls within the jurisdiction. And they say at this stage, the chamber declines to use its proprio motu. They're using fucking Latin terms that I don't use. We don't use that term here. They are trying to determine the admissibility of the case against them, so there's no cause or self-evident factor which impels it to do so. And these are rules that we don't know, chat. We don't actually have to know all the rules of the internet, the ICC here. But this does show you that there is a whole set of facts. There is a whole process here of what they do. So they say that there are findings of fact, and they want to do this apparently pursuant to Article 58(1). They have to do it if there are reasonable grounds to believe the person committed the crime within the jurisdiction of the court and the arrest appears necessary. This is basically the probable cause standard. There's reasonable grounds to believe you committed a crime. That's probable cause. We're pretty sure you did it. On the basis of material provided and considering the Davao Death Squad, the DDS, and members of the Philippines law enforcement personnel targeted very large numbers of persons allegedly involved in criminal activities, mainly drug ones. There was a course of conduct involving the commission of multiple crimes against the civilian population in the Philippines. And these were committed by the DDS and subsequently by different governmental authorities pursuant to a policy aimed at putting an end to the criminality in the Philippines by all means, including killings of alleged criminals. Yes. You're like, based, what's not to love? So they say that in light of the foregoing, there was an attack directed at a civilian population, which is one of the crimes against humanity. And it happened during the period he was president of the Philippines. Moreover, there are reasons to believe this attack was both widespread and systemic. The attack took place over a period of several years, and thousands of people were killed. And they say before these judges, it shows that the killings shared common features such as location and motive, and including the method of killing, the profiles of the victims, and the profiles of the perpetrators. And they say that these are the crimes against humanity of torture, rape, and under the articles of the Rome Statute. And these were part of a widespread and systematic attack directed against civilian population. Yeah, so this is a war crime. Although it's against your own people and you're not at war. Although you're fighting the war on drugs. So, they point out that, they say, however, the information provided allows the judges to conclude the material elements of the alleged crimes were fulfilled. They consider the existence of a nexus between the alleged acts and the attack, as defined above, is insufficiently shown. Therefore, the allegations under counts 2 and 3 cannot be retained for the purposes of the present arrest warrant. So that's the thing. They denied some of it, but still, the warrant for murder is still out there. And they talk about his role during the relevant period as the mayor of Davao City, or Davao, I don't know how you pronounce it. And that he was the head of the death squad. They find it necessary he knew about the operations and their scope. And they say that it shows below that they have some material that say, having defined the scope and purpose of the operations, Duterte intended the conduct to be part of a widespread attack. Now, they talk about what happens here. So how do they know what happened? Well, 19 people were killed while this was in the city where he was mayor. At least 24 people were killed under the supervision of members of Philippines law enforcement. And these are all document reports and everything they're referring to there, guys. And they say with the assistance of persons who were not part of the police at various locations in the Philippines. So they say in light of the findings above, the court considers there are reasonable grounds to believe the elements of the crime against humanity of murder. Notice it's just murder. The rape and torture were not found. They believe that during the relevant time, he was the founder of the head of the DDS while he was the mayor and the president of the Philippines. You guys are all in there just going, based, kill all the drug dealers. Yes. So when Duterte became the mayor, he established the Lambada Boys, which acted as a death squad, composed of police officers and non-police hitmen with a mission to kill criminals. In the early 90s, the Lambada Boys were named the Davao Death Squad. That sounds far more impressive anyway. The founder and later the head of state of the Philippines, Duterte, jointly with high-ranking government officials and police forces, agreed to neutralize individuals they identified as alleged criminals or individuals with criminal propensities, including drug offenders. Initially in Davao and throughout the country, the word neutralized was used and understood to mean to kill. Well, yeah, duh. And the agreement had the aim of addressing the growing criminality by killing criminals in a covert and secret manner without sticking to basic law enforcement or investigation. So, yes, he used direct perpetrators to commit the tools of the crime. He had de facto control over the unit, which is organized in a hierarchical manner. And his influence was further reinforced by the fact that as mayor, he had control over the police in the city and the power to direct the functions of investigations. And he could also choose the death squad and the police chief. So it's interesting how this stuff goes, guys, isn't it? How you do this. Sleazy is like da like dad, vow like vow, Davao, Davao, like Davos. Davos. There we go. Davao. Yes, guys, The Hague is in the Netherlands. So he has been transported to the Netherlands to stand trial. So where all the Bosnian military leaders were sent as well. Yes, the ICC is in the Netherlands. So Bella says, who places these judges and prosecutors in power? Through the International Criminal Court, they are staffed and they basically get appointed there. So the parties to it, and I think the UN has some involvement there as well. Davao. Run, Clyde, they're on to you. Notice he's coming over to me like, what, fat man? What? No. All right. We're going to finish up here, chat, because this is like I said, I thought this was interesting to read about it previously. So their fungibility has shown that the DDS killed some of the physical perpetrators who did not follow their orders. So he ran the death squad and the police, and he used them wherever he could. Now they point out, as president of the Philippines, he was the head of state who had de jure under the law, through the law. There's de jure and de facto. You're in, as a fact or as a matter of law. So he had control over all departments, including the Philippine National Police, their FBI, and the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency. And he supervised local governments. He could appoint the key law enforcement officers to create the national network, which is what the death squad turned into, which killed those identified as criminals and shielded perpetrators. He could also suspend and reassign operators to other places in response to public outcry. He also had de facto control over all the agencies implementing the national plan, including the PNP and the DEA. He appointed his fellow Davao city people. Did I say it right? Davao! The high-level positions who had been involved in the killings. Those who committed the material elements of the crimes understood they did not have the liberty to disobey orders from Duterte to kill suspected criminals. Very true. He took advantage of their issues and concerns, such as being suspected of drug-related offenses, to ensure their compliance with their orders, to utilize them as tools to commit the crimes. Yes, he's like, maybe it's you who's a drug dealer. They're like, no. Oh. So, let me see here. Trying to connect my pronunciation results in more cringe, yes. So, motu proprio is a Latin phrase meaning his own impulse and refers to an official act taken without a formal request. Why don't they say sua sponte? Why don't they just say sua sponte? Because that means the same thing. Sua sponte means of your own accord. So, yes, he's been kidnapped and sent to the Philippines or the Netherlands. The Philippine president surrendered. Yes, I agree. They could send it to the sovereignty there, which I think is a little bit of an issue. So, but yes, I don't know why they wouldn't just say sua sponte because that means of your own accord. That makes more sense. Motu proprio is widely used. Okay, well, I don't know about here. His daughter is the current VP of the Philippines. Really? Really? Huh. So I gave it a try. I thought I got it right. I tried, chat. I tried. So sponte doesn't imply superiors. Yeah, I know, but it's of your. It sounds like they're doing it of their own accord, though. So yeah, yeah. I forgot to check that before. I forgot what it was, but they say such a level of perpetrators' fungibility can be inferred from the fact they were killed or prosecuted as scapegoats to get the high level perpetrators immunity. But there are cool things he did here. He had a project aimed at targeting criminals during his presidency. He called it Project Double Barrel was launched. That's pretty. There's some pretty solid names in here. Project Double Barrel. It's like, yes. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Also, guys, there's a lot of transcripts and translations for things in here. All kinds of stuff. They say offered incentives or promotions to kill suspects. I mean, all kinds of stuff there. They promoted killings and dehumanized criminals as the mayor of Davao City. And they say as the head of the DDS and subsequently as president, he had the power to frustrate the commission of the alleged crime. He could have stopped this. He acted with the intent and knowledge within the meaning of Article 30 of the statute in relation to the crime being committed. They can confer that his knowledge and intent of this by controlling them together with his perpetrators, instructing and supporting the city in nationwide killings, would be a problem. So once again, chat, this is where your intent can be inferred through your actions. When you set up a conspiracy and have death squads running around, it's very hard to say, oh, I didn't mean that. I didn't know what I was doing. So they believe that there's reasonable grounds, meaning probable cause to believe he's responsible for the crimes against humanity and murder. And he's an indirect co-perpetrator within the meaning of the Rome Statute. And they talk about the necessity for arrest. And they say even though he is not president of the Philippines, he appears to continue to wield power. And they say the chamber is satisfied that he is necessary and that he has to be here. And they believe that, he won't show up from a summons. So they issued an arrest warrant. He's born at 45. God, he's old. They decided the warrant of arrest, classified as secret, may be communicated to the existence and revealed to the application, maybe mention the states, international organizations, or competent persons. And they're asking that they would make it known. So they direct the registrar, and this is the parties, to transmit the information and work with other member states to secure his arrest. And that in the case of it, they want to open a case record and transfer all the stuff from the prosecutor into the case record. And they said it's done in English. A French translation will follow. The English version remains authoritative, and these are all the judges in it. So this is where it gets, like I said, if you guys have never seen an arrest warrant from the ICC, that's what this is. That's what this is. Yes, and there's the real issue. He still retains power in the globe. The globalists can't have it. Yes. Babs Board Game says, did you miss the steel toe argument? Yes, you did. So I still don't understand why this is a crime against humanity. I don't think they have the operation there. Yeah. In response to Operation Double Barrel, Duterte said, I don't know how to say this in Tagalog, but yes, your boy didn't do too bad. Yes, Hitler was winding up his tenure as Führer when this guy was born. Yes. It's very interesting. Ari is saying, whoever said the daughter is corrupt, that the person has a whole story. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, somebody's saying that. I'm not saying he is. Yeah, look at who's running the Philippines now. Well, yes, President Marcos. And if you guys don't know who President Marcos, you should go back to see who did the Philippines in the 70s and 80s. The Philippines had a rough time with their president. So, yes. The Marcos have a very storied family in Filipino history. So, yeah, she's up for impeachment right now. Davao City probably speaks Cebuano. Okay. Yes, it's the Marcos who are the corrupt. I'm sure they are. Yes. So. All right, chat. We got one last thing. We're going to knock this out here quick. Somebody sent this to me tonight, and I'm like, oh my God, we're going to end on this. This is hilarious. So a guy got arrested after a woman claims he put meth in cider during their sex encounter. I mean, you guys have heard of a prison wallet, but this is a little bit more. So this is out of Idaho. This guy got arrested because he put drugs inside his a woman while they were having sex. And he got charged with felony aggravated sexual battery. Now, she had been assaulted by him, and they said they agreed to meet with speaking, and so she goes out and hangs with this guy. They started talking about his methamphetamine use. They went to his house, and he produced a baggie that contained a bunch of meth. The victim says that he began using it, crushing it up, and liquefying it, and shooting it up. And then later, the victim says he told her to get naked and asked if he could shove some of the meth into her. And she said no, she wanted to stay clean. Why are you hanging out with the fucking meth head anyway? You sound like somebody in recovery fucking around. While they were having sex, he asked again, baby, can I put meth inside you? And she's like, no. And he's like, too bad, I already did it. You're like, wow. She said she didn't want to do that, but she felt a burning sensation up her hooch and in her ass. As she stood up, a rock fell out of her. You're like, what the fuck? What the hell? What the hell? Yeah, this is no, guys, this is Idaho. This is Idaho. Oh my gosh, chat. So, back in September, this happened back in September. She went to the hospital where she tested positive for meth. She said she never used meth, and she had no documented history of meth use. Sure, quote unquote. Press X'd it out. The detective met with him, and he admitted to recently using meth, and he used it for sexual purposes. Maybe he and Nick should share notes. He said that he said that, oh, this was all mutual, but then he admits to using it during sex. And when asked if he showed the methamphetamine inside her, he said, that was crazy, and he would never do it because it would cause a lot of damage. Well, he did do it, I bet. But he's got a $15,000 bond. And if convicted, he could face 20 years in prison. Yes, even though he's been charged with the crimes, it does not necessarily mean he committed them. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. But holy cow, chat, that is not another win. That is not a win. That is not another win for the potato. So, yes, it sounds very much like a Florida story. Yes to the sex, but no to the meth. Yeah, which you're like, why would you have sex with the meth head? Yeah. You guys are like based, yeah. Those metabolites sure escaped. I know. Takes piss and rocks to a whole new level. That's the thing. Like he'll be like, no, the police rubbed the meth in her hair. You can see it. The labs are incorrect. Oh, just don't do that, chat. Just don't shove meth up your cooch if you're a lady out there. Don't do it. It's not a good idea. All right, chat. We're all caught up. We're going to catch up on some super chats here because we got to get some things done. I know you guys were there. So that's a shame for $9.99 said first. You know what? If you call yourself first and you identify as first, I guess you're first. Grassroots Hegemon says, I came here for cute dogs. What is happening? Well, I don't know, but thank you for the $20. Stephen Cooper says, if it occurred in New York City, get a ROROPE. Oh. Helgi says $50. How the fuck are we supposed to hit the goal now? Yes. And Fred Rush gifting 10 subs, chat. He's going all the way. We are going all night, chat. Well, we're going over locals. But he is doing his part, chat. He is doing his part. Are you doing your part out there? Are you doing your part, chat?
Fight for the future.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
Everybody's doing their part. You've got to do yours. You've got to do yours out there, chat. Fred, thank you for the support and your generosity. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Helgi says for $5. I guess this is the thing he has to do. I don't know the truth about this. Gino can't go to Minnesota because he's too busy moving his car to the other side of the street every 15 minutes. That is good. That is good. Oh, I guess, does he actually do that? I don't know. Is this true? Nico for $52.59. I think you're making up for some of the 99 cents out there. I appreciate it. It says Gino is flat broke. Gino ain't got no money. I'm just reading what's here. He's always looking so damn crummy. Ain't nobody find him funny. He can't move out of the projects because Gino's flat broke. $50 for the Kayla Lude plus $2.50 for a beer at Stoney's. Plus 9 cents for the cheap 99-cent people. Well, thank you, Nico. Thank you for the support. Matthew Hepp says, did you see the P. Diddy's pulling a Nick and claiming the video of him beating a woman is altered? No, he's claiming the Cassie Ventura video is altered. That's interesting. You're going to have to show, he'll have to show how. Vince Griswold, Vince, thank you for being here. Has gifted 5 subs. Let's go, chat. Vince is doing his part, chat. He sees these grays out there, and he's just walking up to them and just squish. He's just crushing them, stiffing them out. You see this, grays? You see what this means? It means not welcome. Oh. Torgo the White's been a member for 16 months. Thank you, Torgo. He says the toe can't keep getting away with it. You know, a little couple of head punches thrown into. Johan Naxos for 9 months. Thank you, Johan, for your support. He says, I'm going to build a win for the toe on that land, bish. I'm going to build a church to victory. Rowan Coward says, I'm tired of all these lazy spear-throwing, fried chicken-eating, wide-nosed grays breathing all the green man's air. Get to the back of the bus, Greens. What the heck? I feel like a hair floating around. Thank you, Rowan. Then Rowan Cowart for 5 subs on top of it, chat. Just stepping up like that. Stepping up all the way there. Thank you, Rowan, for the support and your generosity. Amateur Iconoclast has been a member for 14 months. Thank you, man. Thank you for being here. That's like I said, guys, these numbers, when they get into the double digits, they get flattering. I mean that in a good way. It's humbling. Like, you guys have been sticking around. I appreciate it. It's cool. That's very neat. 14 months gray-free. That's a proud stat, Chad. That's a proud stat, being gray-free that long. Grassroots Hegemon for $20. Thank you. He says we could definitely send 4 people to the sun. We have the skills. We have the technology. Yes. We can send 4 people to the sun. Yes, we can. Right into the sun. Kellen Miller for $2 says, N. Oh, Devil-Eyed Elvis, how are you doing? It's good to see you, man. Says, innocent of all charges, going back to the track lady. Racist and ceiling birds caused this. Yes. Yes. The white man made her do it. Sika Loather, for 10 Singaporean dollary dues, says you should flex your wealth to Ralph. Get a night in the iconic Singapore hotel you mentioned when I last super chat with the infinity pool. It looks like the 3 tombstones cost $750 US every night. I do that, but you'd also have to go when you go to Singapore. You got to go to the Raffles Hotel and get a Singapore sling. Natasha gifting 5 subs. Thank you, Natasha, for your support and your generosity, doing your part to make America green again. That's right, chat. Make America green again. Grassroots Hegemon says, first off, rude. And Brandon for $2 says she deserves jury nullification. Nick Kreuzer says, do you ever think he looked in the mirror and thought, I got a purty mouth? Oh, yes. And yes, you guys, these two guys are talking about the mortician cutting off the weenus. Stephen Cooper, it's good to see you, man. Is saying, almost time for Korematsu Part 2. Cheng gets chonged. Oh, yes. AD says, was the undercover agent's name Woo? Very funny. Grassroots Hegemon says, thank you, man. You've been freaking on fire tonight. Says, just to be clear, me, referring to you, not me is referring into me. Who does pun would pick a pocket. Excellent Master Commander reference. I always try to be the lesser of the two weevils. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yes, excellent reference yourself. Yes, Natasha says, just because you did, don't admit you did it. Yes. Spudgun says, I didn't do anything you can't prove. It's another way of doing it. Tyler says, a Trump show. Yes. Tyler also says, orange is the new black. Yes. And my ad reads are flattering and unnecessary. You know what? I like to, I show the love, man. I show the love for people. People deserve it. Like, people out there deserve stuff, guys. Like KLF, she's in chat. She's almost 25K subs on her own channel. It's out there, guys. People, we need to, nothing wrong with helping each other out, showing some love. And then there's obviously other people, who could do an ad read, like the Dragon's Treasure. Speaking of love, if you love anime, you love tea, you love soaps, you love coffee. Go to thedragonstreasure.com. If you love the tea, you love the soap, and you love the anime, and you love the coffee, go there, thedragonstreasure.com. Use the promo code criminal. Get 10% off your order. And if you love wind chimes, chat, you love wind chimes, go to maf-arms.com, chat, maf-arms.com. MAF Corporation, you know them, you love them, Fudbusters, Matt LaRosiere. Get your wind chimes ready, chat. Get your wind chimes ready for the sunshine. As they say in Florida, sun's out, wind chimes out. Get yourself all sorted out there. Use the promo code POTCRIM and save 10%. Edward Scott is saying, during World War II, Reinhard Heydrich and Ernst Kaltenbrunner, yes, two of the MVPs during the Nuremberg trials, ran Interpol. Yes. They kept their tactics. Yes. Imelda Marcos and her shoe collection. Yes. Lady had 1,000 pairs of shoes. As the Marcoses were running in the Philippines as a dictatorship. Yes. Unforced Ego for $10 says, rules of nature. This is a Metal Gear Rising Revengeance reference. Never played that one, so I don't get the reference, but thank you for the Metal Gear Solid reference. Barton Bella gifted 5 subs, chat. 5 more, doing her part, chat. Praying the gray away. Whatever she can do to help make this a better chat. You know, that's the thing. Like, you know people who are committed to making this community better. Getting rid of you toxic grays that are out there. Midnight in Exile is asking over on Rumble, is saying, why did that guy in Idaho need her to shove the meth up her twat? Dude, people got kinks, man. Some people got kinks. We all do. Like, some people have kinks about wanting, like, feet pics. This guy apparently wanted to shove drugs up a chick's cooch and then ram it in there like it's a cannon. I don't know. I don't know. You're asking me a question I don't know the answer to. And then EDW Raptor's been a member for 18 months. Thank you for the support, man. I appreciate it. Says a double digit here. Out with the grays. Yes. Out with the grays. Yes. Yes, Reinhard Heydrich got popped by the Czech resistance. So make sure you have a safe for your wind chimes. Yes. Mediocrity says, Nick Rekieta said I could sell these classified hard drives in China. Yes. Yeah, they call it packing the musket in Idaho. Winter Soldier says it's called a candy cane, and it makes him super hard and her super orgasmic. I don't know why you know that. I don't know why you know that, but I'm not gonna ask. Not gonna ask. Tilly says, what are your kinks? You're gonna have to ask your mom about that. The gentleman doesn't kiss and tell. Yes, you gotta swab that boar before you ram it in. Tamping the charge down, yes. Oh. Demon's Rat saying about Reinhard Heydrich, yes. They had to throw bombs at him because their guns jammed, yes. 2 Scoops, a Destroyer. Been a member for 29 months. Dang. That's a long time, man. That's a long time. Thank you for being here. Says 1 score in 9 months ago. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate that. That is so cool. Those numbers like that are cool. And I know, chat, some of you guys have been members just as long. I know you're out there. I know some of you might not be able to afford a membership, or you had one before and you don't have one now. That's okay. It's nice when you could actually see the number, but I appreciate every one of you that's out there. I appreciate all of you being here. So that's the thing, chat. You're liking, you give me a like, you throw in a comment, you're doing God's work in here, chat. So don't feel like if you're not able to or you don't want to, that alone does a lot of work for me. A like and a comment. Natasha for 5 more subs. Just coming in. Just chat. Natasha found them. She came in, dropped her subs, and she's like, wait, there's still survivors out there. I gotta do something about these grays. She's hosing them down, chat, like she's watering the grass. Oh. Nate, I'd say, how about we spice things up as I pull out the charcuterie board? Yes. How do you feel about cheeses? Actually, that's how I'll know. I'll be like, no, I've got this board full of cheeses for you. Let's sit down and talk. Anderson Cooper says that Tomlinson level comeback. Stalker child Noah was not. Enjoy being banned. Tilly says my mom is a whore. She doesn't remember you. That's right, because I fucked her brain flat. So there you go. Look what I could do to her. Look what I did to her. Yes, now you got to yell at me. So you're not my dad. Oh. Bella says that's why we try to gift. We can gift on locals, but we have to have your freaking email. Yeah. That's the annoying part about locals. Event says, thank you to everyone's gifted memberships. Yes, thank you. And we got one more. We got another one that came in here real quick. And it's Unhung Hero. It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you around. Dropping 5 more subs on the pile, chat. Grace, you got nowhere to run tonight. Nowhere to run. Gonna have to hide under the bodies of your comrades. Midnight in Exile says, wait, dressing up like G.I. Joe's the Baroness is a kink. Telling a woman to shove a meth rock up her twat is something else. Well, I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Okay, Demon's Wrath, this is funny here. This is, speaking of cheese, ooh, yummy cheddar. And Noel's like, I hate you and I fucking hope you die. Arrgh! Oh, he got very... living amongst the Balkans. Living in the Balkans has hardened him. I mean, he's learned the ways of removal. Not just the kebabs, but everybody. Noah's been studying over there. KJ says, so was it spiders in the mail? Shit! I fucking left the box. I gotta go grab it. I'll bring it in tomorrow, chat. We'll go through it. I've not opened it yet. Does that mean it was from you? Do you know if there's spiders in the box? I don't know if I want to open it now. Fucking spiders. You guys are evil. You guys are evil. So. We're not doing those, guys. We're not doing those. Charcuterie is good stuff. Yes, it is. Some grays are dodging the gift. Yes, they are. But that's what happens. Sean, can you recommend a good personal injury lawyer for my mom? I know, it's like I know where you live. No, I don't know any out that way. Samuel Hartman says, Sean, hey, Sean, nerd. Hello. Sean fucked your mom, cabbage brained. Yes. Cobra's Baroness. Well, I was just reading the comment. He's not big on G.I. Joe. I blew it. So he says, I know what's in the box. I told you it was a train. Well, fuck, I gotta go grab it. It's out in the car right now. Just in time says, Noble so mad on a cheese spurg out streams. Didn't believe we had good ass cheese here, LMFAO. Well, we don't. Like, if you just go into your grocery store, the cheese selection sucks. But like, you're gonna have to go to like a place that does like artisanal cheeses, or like, for example, here in Ohio, we have Amish people around. The Amish make all kinds of cheese, and like they make all kinds of different stuff that's really fucking good. Like, if you go down to like Ashland, Ohio, they have this like place called Grandpa's Cheese Bar, and it's next to a massive gun store called Fin, Feather, and Fur. But they sell like all kinds of cheese. They sell all kinds of meat. But I will say, like, their white cheddar, it's so white, and it's just white cheddar. They also do this white American, the best American cheese, the white American cheese. It's like the Eminem song, "White America." Oh, the perpetrator was a gray-haired lawyer in Ohio, Dane Bramage. Yes. Your show's been horribly boring lately, but the mess story drew me in. Well, I'm sorry. I'm glad I got you there. Please open the box now. All right. Well, give me a minute. I'm going to have to go grab it. So you guys are going to have to hang tight here 1 second. Oh, hold on, chat. All right. So be right back, guys. I got to grab the box. Give me 1 second. All right, Chad, here we go. Here's the box. There we go. Okay. So in the box is a bag and an envelope. What? Okay, this is new. Keep your gift a surprise. Unwrap your present before opening this envelope. Okay. That sounds scary. So I don't know what this is, but how do I open this up? This bag is made from 100% recycled material. Aw. Enjoy your train foamer from Sleazy. Well, thank you, Sleazy. That's a train. All right. Well, how do I open this up? Oh, okay. There we go. All right. Well, that's done. What the hell is this? Is it like a blow up? What is this? A choo-choo-cha animal. Okay. So it's like a yard inflatable? Because this thing looks like it's gonna be huge when you blow it up. Or do I just open it up and like it'll maybe it'll open up if I cut it, because it looks like it's vacuum sealed. So hold on. There we go. What the hell is this? Okay, this is a spider. It does not scare me. I'll let Clyde hump it though. Or it's like a little train spider. So it's like choo choo. Next stop, hell. That's where all the spiders go, is hell. Maybe I'll let Clyde hump it. That's fine. Yeah, there we go. It's fluffing up. I'm fluffing. I'm a fluffer now. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. So much shit's going to get clipped out of that. Thank you, Sleazy. See what this says here as a gift. All right. Thank you guys for sending in a receipt with this, or like saying who it is, because otherwise I don't get to say thank you. It says, enjoy your train foamer from Sleazy. Well, thank you, Sleazy. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Oh. Remind you of the Thomas the Train Yard Skyrim mod. Yes, or the Thomas the Tank Engine, Warhammer stuff. OnlyFans is my grocery store has hundreds of cheese as well. Yeah, I know, but not every place does. Yeah, if you live at a Gucci place, yes, Whole Foods would, but talking about you go to like Kroger or Meijer. That's what I mentioned too. Grandpa's Cheese Barn's a great place to go. Yeah, I know. I said Grandpa's Cheese Barn. Yes. Yes, I was grabbing my package. Grabbing your package, Chad is watching. Yes. Says, oh no. Oh no. Yes. Well, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that. Oh no, chat. Oh no. Whole Foods is crap. Hebe for the win. Why do you guys have grocery stores in Texas named after like Jewish people? Like, why do you do that? Aldi has 3 cheeses. Yes. Meme says it's a video game you should play. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. All right, guys. So, it's HEB. Okay. Oh, the HEB owner pays for childhood trans stuff, so I guess it really is Hebe. Oh. All right, guys. Well, that is everything. We are all caught up. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We got a lot to get caught up on. We got some Richard Allen stuff now. The court is, Judge Gold's made some rulings that show how fucked up everything is regarding preserving evidence and other things that are out there. Karen Reed, there's like, watching everybody else, there's like 40 motions and all kinds of retarded shit that got dropped recently. We have some Trump stuff to go over. We got a bunch of things to hit up this weekend. We're going to try to work on a lot. We got to work on the IL-2. We got it looking pretty good, chat. We tried out the blue. It looks pretty good on here. We even got the cockpit all done up. You know, I even made like a focus. Had to make the shoulder straps and the lap belts. Took a little bit of packing tape here and cut it out and made some strips and made it 3D and made a harness setup. So yeah, we're gonna do that this weekend too as well. We got Formula One from Australia. Well, we're gonna be doing everything. We're gonna do that over in Locals. And chat, I'm gonna see you guys very shortly over at potentiallycriminal.locals.com for the after show. So with that said, guys, tonight, yeah, a lot of fun stuff, funny stuff, then some serious stuff, and then, like I said, some stuff that was kind of sad. A little sad. But I want you guys to all remember until next time. Just want you guys to remember until next time. Oh, Chugi, should I miss your chat? Oh, did you just send something in? Oh, okay, sorry. You sent this in while I was gone. Thank you, though. Thank you for the super chat. Saying, pay close attention to whether there's powder on his nose when he comes back. Chat. Also, if he hears a train, we might not see him again. Well, I know, but here's the thing: is the powder going to be in my nose, or maybe it's all right here? Maybe it's all up in here. You know, maybe I rub it in my hair already. Thank you, Chugi. I appreciate it. So, so with that said, chat, we are going to wrap it up here. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm not sure what time. I know Mindset's doing a 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. He's doing a 200K stream. Congrats to him on making it to 200K. Covering Johnny Somali and all the weeb stuff. But hey, it's the way to go, man. I will see him there. I'll be on his stream hanging out with him. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to actually probably try to, I should be able to. I got some hearings. I got a couple virtual hearings in the morning. I will be on with Future Conflicts if they're on tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern time. And then actually, I think, did they move back to 9? I forget. I will not be able to do laid back law chat. I got an arraignment. I got 2 guys to arraign tomorrow afternoon, so I will not be able to stick around for laid back law. But I'll be watching along with everybody here. So that's kind of the tentative schedule for tomorrow. Like I said, I got a lot of things to work on tomorrow. So we will do other stuff tomorrow night. But remember, until next time, chat, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Unless you're those Chinese guys selling hard drives, then yeah, well, buddy, you're guilty. You're very guilty. And if you're the president of the Philippines, former president of the Philippines, sounds like you were kind of based. Not necessarily guilty, but guilty of being based. So good night, chat. Take care, you guys. We'll see ya.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty, but please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy Rekieta yelled at? Why, yes it was.